further, but I want to see how it does, and it gives me practice to promote and stuff. 1 second here. Just give me 1 second.
What did you do for your birthday so far?
I just went to the spa this morning. I got a massage and a facial and just relaxed. I wanted to go to this restaurant that I wanted to try for lunch, but they was doing construction on the main street, so it was nowhere for me to park because people already took up the limited parking spaces. But you know what? It was beautiful here in Ohio all the way up until yesterday, all last week, like perfect weather. And the day of my birthday, it just rained all day. So I could have, drove somewhere else, but it's like I just want to. I was just like no, and then I ended up when I came home, I had to do some work and stuff like that. I had to interview someone, so yeah. So I just treated myself to the spa, and I loved it. It was lovely.
Nice. I love the spa. Can't go wrong. Little massage, steam room with the cucumbers on the eyes. Perfect.
Yeah, and I was like, you know what? Next year when I turn, because I'm 49, so when I turn 50 next year, um, I'm gonna be not in this country. I'm gonna make sure
Yeah,
I'm in this.
that's like a Bora Bora. 50 is a Bora Bora birthday.
Right,
Like, out on the water in a cabana that's just for you and someone else and just enjoying everything.
right, exactly. So, but listen, I guess more people will eventually start coming in, and I am going to text the judge, but like, where you at? But we got to talk about, of course, the National Guards, the federal ICE agents in Chicago, all that, and Diddy. I know you want to mention Diddy, and what else? What else is going on?
I think that's enough right there, but
Well, it's an
there's
open mic, and I guess whatever
what else?
somebody else.
Yeah, Trump funding WIC with tariffs is amazing.
Yeah,
I hope they keep the government closed permanently. I love this. I'm loving every minute of it. They're gonna. I think he has to get to 61 days, and then he could eliminate anything he wants. Pretty much, he's saying he's going to be able to eliminate almost 75% of Democrat bloat, busy work jobs that have done nothing except extract right from the country. And I hope they run it that long so he could do that. I mean, the Democrats really miscalculated their hand here and overplayed their hand. And I think it's going to work out wonderfully for the country. So I'm excited. I'm enthused, and I'm ready for big things in the country. I'm excited.
and my thing is also, are they expecting for us to forget that they caused this mess, letting the illegals come in, and every time they get up and actually tell people to push back and fight, and try to, like, the mayor of Chicago write these executive orders, you're actually defending illegals. Like, people are not dumb.
Well, Dana, I don't know if you've also picked it up. Stephen Miller has been beating the drum about this. I think they're getting ready to declare the Insurrection Act and use the full powers of the presidency and the executive like we haven't seen in decades. And I suspect that Brandon Johnson, Karen Bass, all the other communist Marxists and he's within are going to be incarcerated. And I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see the people on this app shoot their mouth off and do nothing about it except piss and moan. And that is probably one of the most joyous parts of this is that the president is the ultimate troll god. And if you're a troll and you like trolling and memeing, this is your presidency. And so it's exciting to see.
But
It's
he's
like
getting
nothing we've
work
ever
done
seen
at the
before. I've
same
never seen
time.
it.
He's still getting work done at the same time. So,
Yes, yes, absolutely.
yeah.
Military's out there getting people who don't belong here out of the country, deporting pedophiles, rapists, and dangerous individuals who the Biden administration brought in under the guise of humanitarian, efforts. But in reality, it was just to take over the country from within, to have a standing army of lunatics that they can call upon to do whatever they wanted to do, and it worked out woefully it worked out terribly for them. So it's great to see.
And what I was about to say. Oh, I don't know what it is about you on Sunday all of a sudden, honey, but all of a sudden you busy. That's why, before we start this show, honey, all of a sudden you busy on Sunday. That's how I'm like, you so phony. Just say you don't want to do it.
It's not that. It's I have some friends and family coming to town the next few weeks, and I'm not able to commit to a solid Sunday. I
For
just
the
can't
next
do it.
two
I
weeks.
apologize.
Wouldn't
Yeah,
this what wasn't
I
this
got
the
some.
second week?
Yeah, I could do. Maybe we could work out something earlier in the day if that works. But I can't do. Um, I can't do later in the evening. That's when I entertain people, and there's lots of gallivanting to
Entertain
do.
doing what? Like, how are you entertaining people? You got a house there?
No comment.
You always want to act like you this goddamn mystery man, honey.
I just make things up. I'm Loki. I'm the Norse god of
So you're
mischief.
lying.
Mischief. No, I'm not lying. I'm telling you, I can't commit to Sunday. Tuesday is my day. I can commit to Tuesday. I love being here and getting into the political discourse, and I'm here for it. What do you think about Diddy? What do you think about the poor
I'm not
diddler? 50 months was, I think, was
I'm not
too
finished
much.
talking about you yet. So wait a minute.
I'm boring. You don't want to talk about me. Who cares about little old me?
Um, no, you're not. You're very entertaining. But yeah,
What's going on in Ohio? What's going? I've never been out there. What is it
it's
like out
pretty. It's
there?
beautiful. You know what it is, and every person that's from Ohio, because I'm not from Ohio, they would say the same thing. We keep our stuff in house. We don't. They never brag or advertise or try to market what this state has. And because they don't want a lot of outsiders coming in, they don't care what other people say or think about Ohio, because Ohio has this stereotype. They don't care because they don't want you here anyway. So, and living here, I get it, because I don't want you people coming here either. Now, the vet, he is running for governor, and that's next year. So it really didn't heat up, but I'm looking at him. He's raising a lot of money, so he's making sure that he is elected. But I don't know who he's running against. That hasn't really been announced yet. But if we're talking about affordability, they have beautiful neighborhoods. It's a lot of billionaires here. As billionaires, a, a lot
Really?
a
I
lot
didn't
of
know that.
old money. It's because they're quiet. They're not flashy. They don't even want you to know who. They don't. That's what I'm saying.
Well, is there like a nice business district, like rooftop
There
bars, like
is.
deals getting
Yeah,
done, stuff like that?
Columbus. I never been to
Okay.
Columbus yet, but Columbus and even Cleveland, downtown Cleveland. So there are a lot of places like that. But again, they are they're not flashy. So you'll be like the owners of the 49ers are from here and they still live here.
Wow.
The sun is in
Maybe I
California.
got to check it
Yeah.
out.
So every state has, negatives. So it's no different in Ohio. But to me, the beauty of this state outweighs everything. The nature, like,
What do the property taxes
huh?
look like? What are the property taxes like in the state?
I don't know, because my father paid all the bills, but it ain't New Jersey. It's
Fair
probably
enough.
like, I think it's under 5,000.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's pretty good.
That shit is cheap.
That is
Yeah.
pretty good. Yeah, I got to check it out. Columbus, you
Well,
say,
no,
huh? Columbus is a nice spot.
I said I never been to Columbus, but I hear Columbus is beautiful too. And actually, you know what? And I said this. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to rent a car because I don't want to drive my own car, and I'm actually going to explore some parts, like some national. I'm gonna go to like the Cuyahoga National Park because that's very popular. And that's what I'm gonna do throughout this
Hmm.
month. Just go to different areas and explore Ohio because I have not done that yet. But I'm in the Cleveland area. It's very blue here, but because even the wealthy people are somewhat blue as well. But
Right.
but the surrounding suburbs, they always say Cleveland because if they say Beechwood, you wouldn't know. But Cleveland is not really the suburbs. It's more, city like or whatever. So it's cool.
Oh, all
For a
right, I gotta
person
check it
like
out.
you, you need some property in Ohio because you could really come here and be left alone. You get what I'm saying?
I like that. That's what I'm all about.
Dave Chappelle is somewhere
So,
here in Ohio. He got a whole bunch of land. So,
well, if Vivek becomes the governor, then that's definitely a place that's going to be on my radar because I'm looking to relocate. I'm finished with the tri-state area,
oh yeah.
um, and I want to go. I want to go west.
Right.
So
This is
I'll
the
definitely put it
beginning
on there.
of the West, Ohio.
Hmm. Hmm.
But see that's the only well probably not the only, but that's one of the main reservations that native Ohioans have with Vivek, because it's like, yeah, dude, you were born and raised here and stuff, but you left. But also he's flashy, so it's like, okay, you're going to be wanting to bring people to come move in here, and I get it, especially if it's businesses, that's one thing. But people here, no, they want to keep it in house.
Right. Well, I mean, he brings big money with him. I mean, the guy made I think he made $400 million in one trade. I think I was reading about him trading a pharmaceutical that was rejected by the FDA, and then he was able to repackage it and sell it in India. So he's extremely intelligent. He's got a lot of money, and I'm sure he's got a lot of well-heeled friends that he could bring with him over there. So if he's going to be running the state, I'm definitely I'm a fan because he was actually my choice before Trump. I was actually
Really?
fully behind him when he was running for president. I loved his policies even more so than Trump's. So
Yeah. But and I also heard that Ohio people, they like they in-home politicians. They don't like they do consider Vivek somewhat of an outsider.
hmm,
So, but he's getting a lot
all
of
right.
support. He's getting a lot of support. Hey, Deborah. Oh, she's I don't know. Maybe she stepped away
Hi,
from
I'm
me.
here. I'm here. I'm here. I just want to do this quick because I gotta. So, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dana. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, thank you. Do we have the applause sound?
And many
And many more.
more.
Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Hope you had a
Thank
good one.
you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome. I was thinking somebody probably did it already, but I don't know how.
Well, my mother always sings "Happy Birthday" to me on my birthday, so she did it
Mm-hmm.
already.
Yep. But it's just,
So, Danny, you're a Libra,
yeah.
Yes, the best sign there is.
balancing the scales. Yeah, I dated a Libra for many
And what
years.
you do? You broke her heart?
No, she was a little nutty, and she tried to stab me, so it didn't work out.
I don't believe
Yeah,
you. I believe her. I believe she was a victim, Peter. You weren't
yeah,
the victim. You
right.
trying to say you were a victim?
I was. That's
What's your
right. I
sign?
was abused. I'm a
Oh,
Oh,
Scorpio.
Lord.
yeah. No, it was
Yeah.
your fault, wasn't hers. You drove. If she did try to stab you, you drove her to that. You probably mentally drove her there. I'm not going to say you laid hands on her, nothing like that. But it was your fault. It's your fault, and that's how y'all Scorpios get down. You're very deviant and very you're too over sexualized. You probably was
That is
cheating
true.
on her left and
That is
right.
true. No, I was not. I don't cheat in
No, you
So
probably
what's
said
relationships.
you
What's
probably wanted an
Diddy's
open
sign? Do you guys?
relationship.
What's Diddy's sign?
He a Scorpio.
Diddy is a
What? Oh
Scorpio.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah. They got the baby oil in
Poor
common.
Diddy, man. I felt bad for Diddy. I thought Diddy was going to come home on Friday. I was like, I was happy for him. I said he's going to have the greatest freak off of his life
Well, the
Friday night.
prosecutor said he had
And
an event planned next week.
he did. He had like some. So I was reading the transcript. He had some type of drug counseling event that he was doing for this this
Now,
rehab
did
company,
his
and it
so
wasn't like.
when the
Okay,
prosecutor said that, did his attorneys clarify what that was?
correct. That's where I got the information. And they, because the prosecutors like are so hyperbolic and just histrionic. The 6 women that minus one now because Comey got fired, which is hilarious. So she wasn't there. Um, but they're just grandstanding. He's a dangerous person. He's unsafe at any age. Like give me a break. He's unsafe at any age. He's literally like a multi-millionaire, if not a
Was
billionaire.
okay, but was this? You think the
And
sentencing was fair though? What he got, the 50 months?
no, absolutely not. I think he could. I think he should have got nothing, and I think he should have got like a public apology from the court saying we're sorry we put you through this, and like
What?
we'll throw you a pardon.
No.
Yeah, that's what I think. Because the Mann Act is ridiculous, and I think this is not like to say that this is justice is a farce. Like the country is really farcical at this point. And we need a total change of everything. DOJ, we need new judges that are getting in there that know the law and don't run roughshod over the Constitution, which is what I saw in this case. And with this particular judge, I don't think he was fair. I think he was, when you look at these judges, right? They work for the government. They're hired by the government. Like, if anything, a judge should be someone that has no connection to the government whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
It should be like, I don't know, maybe a panel of individuals that judge, and they should, it should
Well,
be based on
growing up in New Jersey, we
constitutional
never voted
principle.
our judges in. There are a lot of places that people vote for their judges, and I think that's a good way to
Right.
do
Well,
it.
these are federal judges are nominated by the president, and then they have to be approved with what is it, advice and consent of the
Right.
Senate. So the Senate actually confirms the federal judges, and they're confirmed for life. They sit on the bench until they get senior status. In fact, there's a judge. He's like 91 years old, I think, in the Southern District. His name is Alvin Hellerstein.
Really? So that's a lifetime
91. Imagine that.
position. I thought that was just for Supreme Court.
No, they serve for life, and then they go on what's called senior status. And senior status means that like they don't have as full of a docket, but they still basically continue to serve and fill in different positions. And there's a number of judges that are in or have senior status until they can't perform anymore if they choose to retire or they expire.
Oh.
There's a lot of craziness going on in the federal judiciary, and I hope that Trump is able to nominate more judges so that we could balance some of it. Because what happened to Diddy was a railroading, and it was ridiculous, and it was done. It was done at the same time that New York reversed the statute of limitations and allowed for a year for you to sue individuals going back as
Yeah,
long
the
as you
look back
want
law.
for sexual assault.
Yeah.
Correct.
But that expired
So
already. The look back law.
it did. It did, and Cassie, I think, filed right
Oh, that's
before
right. She
the
did.
expiration
Yeah.
of it. Yeah. Yep.
Judge, are you there?
And then this case came from that.
Judge, are you there?
Again.
I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Happy birthday.
Hey, Judge, good to see you.
Hi there. And again, happy birthday, Miss Dana.
Thank you. Can you help me promote my fundraiser?
I hereby help promote the fundraiser.
Oh, shit. You know what I mean.
I reposted it.
Oh, you did?
Yes, I did.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's in a Jumbotron and it's in the comment section, guys. So please click and donate. So
Now the judge is here, why don't we lead in
yeah.
with that? Judge, what did you think about the sentencing of Mr. Combs? And what were your thoughts on it?
It was stiffer than most sentences under the Act. Most of them tend to be around 1 year. You got the hysteria because you got the carryover from the Biden-Harris administration. That's part of the thing about bureaucracy. The point about having lifetime appointments for judges is that means they're free from influence, which sometimes used to come in where they didn't do what they were supposed to do because they wanted to keep the job. This way, nobody can take the job away from them. It's got its ups and downs, and anytime you start setting up rules to deal with accommodating human nature, you run into the problem that there is a wide range of, a wide spectrum when it comes to human nature. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, and the people need to vet the folk that get appointed. But oftentimes these days it's just an ideological vetting, which doesn't deal with common sense, experience, wisdom, discernment when it comes to the practice of law and the law and being wise in the ways of the world. That's not always what's on the chart. I have experienced too many judges and prosecutors who are in charge of something and have absolutely no experience in the thing. I've said this before. Worst example I'm aware of is somebody just hit the minimum age for being a judge, but had just graduated from law school because they put their husband through law school. And 4 days after they were sworn in as a brand new attorney, they got appointed as a superior court judge with unlimited jurisdiction. And 14 months out of law school, they were sitting on a federal bench as a federal district court judge of the same level as the ones that are giving President Trump grief. And by the way, she got appealed an awful lot in the Court of Appeals, which was the Sixth Circuit for her particular district. Just threw their hands up every time a case came in from her because it had been so botched. Now this person is sitting on the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals as an appellate judge, and the individual has never, ever, no how, no way, even argued a motion as a lawyer to give her a foundation for knowing what she's doing. So there you go. Somebody's on the appellate court, somebody's been on the trial courts with absolutely zero experience and very young and
So, Judge,
lame.
what could we? That's preposterous,
Of
right? So,
course it
what could we
is.
do as U.S. citizens? Can we do a recall of that person?
No, you
How
can't
what's the process
recall
to
them.
get that
You
person
can't
out of there?
nothing. You just have to endure them. But the point that needs to be made is be careful who the devil you vote for that has the authority and power to put somebody like that in office. You see, that's why we pay attention to governors, to mayors, to presidents, to congressmen, to members of the Senate and the House, because the Senate confirms the president's appointment. Pay attention to the electoral college that you're voting in to select the president. We don't, and we get stuck with the consequences, and we deserve just what we get for inattention. You have to put the
You know,
attention in.
Judge, it comes down to people just not, like you said, paying attention, but also most people don't care, right? And they're not civically engaged. They could barely tell you, what a lot of the amendments to the Constitution even mean, if they've ever even picked up the Constitution. We need a wholesale reimagining and re-education of the populace on why these things are so important, or else we're just going to continue getting, bent over a barrel. It's terrible. I don't know. We need some fresh blood. I feel like new blood in there that knows what they're doing to change things up. I'm going to bring up a couple of speakers and we'll get into it.
Let me say something. That is part of our problem is new blood. Remember, inexperience, no vetting. We want this new something because the old doesn't seem like it's doing it. We're not getting the mature, experienced, and wise. We've been getting the hacks who have been sitting on a bench too long. That's what our problem is. And when we keep going after something new, oftentimes it's not improved, it's just new. It's untested, unlearned, ill advised, and unwise.
I agree with you, but when I say new, I mean that they actually have the pedigree, right? Like, how would we attract? Maybe we need to change the schematic of the pay scale or something to attract the brightest minds to come in and actually, do what they're supposed to do. And
In England,
um,
getting a law degree is a lot like getting a medical degree. You get the medical degree here and in England, you have to go through an internship and a residency. For law, you have to do that in England. You have to be with a house and you have to read law with the house and they have to train you in how you do it. Here in the United States, you don't have to do that. So what you get is the equivalent of getting a referral to a doctor or walking into the office, seeing the degrees, and then having the shock to discover he's never been an intern nor a resident. In other words, he's a rookie with nothing but book learning. That's what we have. There ought to be requirements to deal with the imposition of such things. Now, to show you what's going on to the contrary, the state of Washington says that because bar exams have a negative impact on certain ethnic groups, nobody has to pass a bar anymore to practice in the state of Washington. All you got to do is graduate from law school, and that's totally inadequate because I know a lot of idiots with law degrees and law licenses because they haven't been tested hard enough.
Judge, that's insane in my mind. I mean, so based on that, I would think they're not allowed to practice in other states where you do have to be admitted to the bar, right? There's no reciprocity or interstate compact, I guess, between those
Right,
attorneys.
some time ago, the U.S. Supreme Court said that an attorney in one state may take a limited number of cases in another state so long as he associates with local counsel. We've got people with national reputations for being civil rights lawyers that have never tried a jury case, but everybody uses them as the go-to when there's something involving the police.
Peter, I'm back. What was the order? I see, of course, Deborah. I see Cece and Linda.
Yeah, it would be Deborah, Linda, Cece. I think Deborah just wanted to wish you a happy birthday with the song, but Deborah, if you want to speak or say anything before we go to Linda and then Cece.
Just hi, because I'm actually seeing some judges right now. I'm dealing with something, and I've seen two judges where there was no stenographer in the room, and they really don't know what, I don't really know a lot about family law, but they didn't give me a fair turn at what I had to say, and they didn't analyze this trumped up video that this person has and all kind of things. So, judge is right.
You have to, usually in a civil matter, you have to provide your own court reporter unless you're indigent and you request one. And
Hmm.
in a lot of family courts, they're not courts of record.
Okay.
They're supposed to encourage quick dispositions.
Okay.
But the best thing is to hire yourself a lawyer, otherwise, you're going to get a mess.
Well, I have one, and it seems to be a mess, but I'm looking forward to it. Person basically framed me after.
Good luck.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks. But anyway, you guys, good luck. And Dana, again, happy birthday.
Thank you,
Uh,
Deborah.
and it's always good to hear this banter because I learn something every week. So
Appreciate
thank
you.
you for letting me talk. Yep. And I'm just gonna go back to listening.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks
All
for
right.
coming, Deborah.
Linda, hi.
Hi, thank you, and happy birthday, Dana.
Thank you.
God bless you. I contributed to a an interview for um a College Fix um online magazine, and in it Penn Medical um were sued, and
No,
the Black Doctors
no.
Directory was eliminated. They lost in the lawsuit because they had a black only doctors directory, and the court said that they have to have it open to all races, and they could not have a black doctors directory. I was asked some questions by the reporter, and I basically answered the questions that they had, but I didn't know. I'm okay with opening things up if that was the case, but I wasn't sure what um if that was just the elimination of I don't know what that is. It doesn't fall under affirmative action to have a black doctor's directory. It seemed to me that um this was something that the college, Penn State or Penn Medicine was doing. I just wanted to get your thoughts, anyone thoughts on what the court ruled was that it was discriminatory and that they had to include it, but I didn't see how if it was on a college. Is it a public university or is it the federal funds?
Let me ask you a question. What court did what?
So the article that she sent me um said that the the district court ruled that
For
University
what
of
for what state?
Pennsylvania.
Okay, that's Pennsylvania. You saw the crap in Pennsylvania that happened until you get up to the Supreme Court. Look what they did to Dr. Cosby.
Okay.
And I'm saying the lower level judges are not always what they ought to be. And you have the precedent set that the Supreme Court is allowed. You have such things as Daughters of the American Revolution, Daughters of the Mayflower, where there is a distinct ethnic context to something, that you have black lawyers who set up a directory. You can't get around that. Somebody, it's just information. That's First Amendment. Who are the
Mm-hmm.
black lawyers in this area? Who are the black doctors in this area? That's information. That's kept or should be kept by the Census Bureau. They ask you that on a federal form. Are you Hispanic, non Hispanic? If you're non Hispanic, first question is you're white or Caucasian, black or African American, and it goes on. So, all of these things are categories that it is permissible to inquire of. You don't have to respond, but if you choose to, that's your business. And if you want to set up something where it's just simply a listing, how many of these people in here are black? Well, if they want to participate, they can declare what they are or what they claim. That's their First Amendment right, and that's a garbage case.
Okay. Well, they had to change. They did change the name. So I was trying to understand. I know that there are a lot of directories out there like this that I've seen. Black lawyers here in Michigan.
Wait, are you running? Somebody running water?
I don't know who that is.
I thought Linda was in the bath.
Judge, can
No,
you
that was
mute?
not me.
No, I'm not running water.
Okay, Judge, can you just mute?
I'm not running water.
Can you mute?
I heard it too. But anyway, I was getting ready to say something back on the point
Well, she was
when the
Okay.
lady
talking.
got there.
So can you just
Yeah,
mute?
I know.
And
Well, okay, I got to walk in another room because I'm using earphones. But anyway, hold on, let me get back. Okay, go ahead, ma'am.
Okay. I was just inquiring because I do know that there are other groups here, especially here in Michigan. I know this was Pennsylvania, but there are other groups that have directories, but they're not necessarily associated with a college or university. And is that the issue there, that it's associated with a college or university?
It's garbage. You would have to
Okay.
get rid of the National Bar Association, which are the National Medical Association, which are organizations of black doctors and lawyers. They'd get away from that, or you'd have to get away from the ones that deal with Italian or Irish or anything like that. You'd have to get rid of notations like I live in a suburb of Memphis. It's known as Germantown. There were a high number of German origin settlers years, a century ago. So you'd have to get rid of that. That's not going to happen. That's just garbage. Somebody is a fool because they don't understand what the rules about and they're trying to be politically correct.
Scary. That's the point we're at right now. And these people have, I mean, like you said, the woman sits on the Sixth Circuit. That's mind boggling. This is a person who literally came from law school, and you said what, within 15 months, she was a circuit court judge?
No, she was a
How does that?
circuit court judge for the state of Tennessee 4 days after she was sworn into the bar. There's a
That's
minimum age of
crazy.
30 years of age, and she had turned 30 about 3 weeks before. She was on the federal bench less than a year and a half out of law school.
It's mind boggling. It just seems like a patronage. It seems like a nepotism from what you're
We had a
describing.
district attorney. He's no longer the DA. It's been 35 years ago, 33 years ago, excuse me. He was 2.5 hours late to be sworn in because he didn't know where the criminal justice complex was. He'd never been there, but he was appointed as the head DA.
Linda, were you done before we moved to DC?
What is going on in that state? It's
That's not
crazy.
just Tennessee, that's all over the country because everybody is about you have to get new. We want you.
So, in there was a Supreme Court case that dealt with essentially in college admissions dealing with affirmative action. Does that have anything to do with um, this? Do you think that the Supreme Court would rule in that? Because
Well, here's the deal. On that, I helped draft one of the first affirmative action programs in the country. It was back in the mid 60s at UCLA. We came up with a program that if you read it, it would sound almost exactly like Robert's opinion in the matter you're talking about. We said you cannot have it based on race. You have to have objective criteria that apply to everybody, even if in the real world they're more likely to apply to one ethnic group. And you have to show a reason for it outside of simply race without getting into affirmative uh, deference or preference given to any one particular ethnic group. Now, a bunch of black would be medical students reached a deal with the medical school at UC Berkeley back in 1971. They said that the standards that were being used, which were objective, were unfair to them because their grades weren't that good, nor were their aptitude tests. But they always wanted to be doctors, and they couldn't help it if they came from affluent backgrounds, so they spent their time partying instead of studying. So they convinced the powers that be that they should have a race quota. We asked them to back off of that because they were going to do what wound up happening 50 years later when Roberts wrote the opinion saying you can't do that. But they insisted and they worked up a deal with Bakke saying if you're the plaintiff, we'll let you in medical school and pay your way. So it was a hustle. And that's why a lot of stuff is crap now because ignorant, uncaring fools who are selfish and don't give a damn about anybody are getting their way because they weren't willing to put in the work and the hours to do what they needed to do. Now I'll pass the mic.
All right, I'm gonna go to CC.
Hey y'all, thanks for letting me speak. Happy birthday, Dana. This is my first time in here.
Thank you.
I did. You're welcome. I didn't know if there was like a certain line of questions that we can ask. You know.
Yeah, it's
Um,
open mic. It's open mic.
okay, perfect. Hey, Judge Joe. I feel
Hi
very.
there.
Hi, I feel very privileged to talk to you this evening. I have a really quick question. So, we have a problem in this country. We've had this problem in this country for quite some time now with soft on crime judges. Um, we always hear the other side, screaming and yelling, "Hey, we want to see, Trump, President Trump's tax returns. We want to see where he's getting his money." Well, why is it that we can't demand, in a background check before these judges become these federal judges? Like, why can't, are we not looking at where their money's coming from, who's funding them? Like, how do we get to the bottom of this? Because these soft on crime judges are a real problem in this country. We have innocent refugees, an innocent refugee woman from Ukraine over here being stabbed, by a black man for absolutely no reason. And he knew what he was doing. I mean, he stabbed her right up underneath her armpit. He knew what he was doing, but his rap sheet is as long as our arms, right? And we see this and we hear this stuff every single day. How can we, I guess, for lack of a better term, how can we vet these judges that we're putting in our districts? And how do we know who's funding them and how can we find out? Thank you.
The problem is not who's paying for them. The problem is a fool is a fool, and a fool will show himself often or herself often, not just to be a fool, but the question becomes, how big a fool can a fool be? Now, one of the problems we've had over the last several decades is this rise of the concept of victimization. In my analysis, you can blame the feminists for that because they are always declaring themselves to be equal, but victims of these horrible, toxically masculine men. Now, you're either equal or you're different. You may have equal value, but it doesn't mean you can do the same things. You see what they did with under Biden and under Obama when they diminished the physical requirements for, say, the military because they wanted to be all inclusive. They wanted to be woke. And that is a problem we have right now. Like, look at Conjay Jackson. With due respect, that woman has no business being on an appellate court, let alone on the Supreme Court of the United States of America. And she was a political hack. I can take the Second Circuit. I can say, okay, Roger E. Clifton, somebody I know would have been a great judge. Bernice Donald on the Sixth Circuit, and definitely not the one I was referring to, would have been an excellent choice for the U.S. Supreme Court, but they didn't get picked. They selected somebody that even black law professors and senior black judges have said was not proper for the office, but it was a politically correct thing that the Democratic Party was doing. Now, that is not good for the system. The system presumed common sense and discretion, but that is a presumption that is no longer operative because common sense, discretion, wisdom, discernment, logic, rationality, reason, objectivity, detachment are no longer things that are encouraged. One is promoted in one's emotive responses to things. One is promoted because of one's beliefs. One is promoted because of one's passion, but not for those things that are actually required to perform adequately in the office. So that's what we do. We have supported this. We have elected people who are responsible for administering such nonsense, and we get stuck with it. And in America, there's a long standing phrase about it. In a place like America, you get the representation you deserve. If your representation is crap, that's because the voters in the place that selected them are crap. There's nobody putting a gun to anybody's head and saying you have to vote for this person or we'll put you on a wall and shoot you. So if we elect these people who get to make these appointments or we elect these people directly, that's our fault. And half the time, in just about every jurisdiction I've been to, whatever the state where you can vote on the judges, the people don't pay any attention. They show up on election day and they get a sample ballot handed to them by God knows who. And they go vote that sample ballot without an idea as to who they're voting for. In Memphis, there was a judge named his name was McCarty, just like the one that was McCarthy in the Senate, Joe McCarthy. And he had been the Grand Dragon for the Klan in the Memphis area and head of the White Citizens Council. And if you ever found him a worse racist, and since he was an orphan, crazy MF, that was him. But he got the black bloc vote every single election because the black folk didn't know who they were voting for, and they trusted the sample ballots that were given to them by the charlatans that were paid by those in charge to put these sample ballots out. And that's how it works. That's our fault. We pay attention to recipes, crank diets, stupid movies, stupid television programs, insanity, and we pay no attention to those things that impact our day-to-day lives. So that's our fault. We need to do better.
Dana, can I respond?
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, I agree with Judge Joe. I mean, Katanji. I mean, she is the definition of a DEI hire. Like her. There's nothing about her that even remotely screams Constitution. Something else that Judge Joe just mentioned was the feminism, the movement, feminism movement. And I've always believed that that was an issue. I'm 51 years old. I've been with the same man for 36 years, been married to him for 33. Do the math. I've been with him since I was 15 years old. I am not my husband's equal. I will never be my husband's equal ever. And I don't strive to be. Um, I look at it this way. If my house caught on fire, he can carry me out faster than I can carry him out. I will never be his equal. Um, something else that Judge Joe was talking about. I think that we have a real issue in this country with literal cognitive dissonance. People have no idea what that is, and if they think they know what it is, they're not using it correctly. Um, but I just wanted to say, I appreciate being able to speak here, and I wanted to tell you all something. My dad is a my dad is a Vietnam veteran, and he's, my biggest and best hero, and I just absolutely love him. He's almost 76, and I will tell you this: he told me one time that, and this is his quote. He said, "The biggest plague," and this was probably 20 years ago, maybe 18 years ago. The biggest plague that affects the human race today is it's not medical, it's not AIDS, it's not cancer, it's not Ebola, it's none of that shit. This is exactly what he said. He said the biggest plague that is affecting the human race today is
The Jews.
lack of freaking common sense. And I believe that, and lack of common sense, man. We have lost this, not just this country, but we've lost this planet to lack of common sense. Just saying. So anyway, Judge Joe, thank you. I've followed you for a long time, watched your show. I'm a big supporter, and I respect you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. That's much appreciated.
All right.
Dana, I dropped Rumpelstiltskin. He's a troll.
Oh,
So
okay. I
try
didn't
not
know
to
that.
bring him in.
Okay. Um, X, Exodus X.
Oh, what's up? I just wanted to tell Dana happy birthday
Thank
and say
you.
what up. What's up, Judge Joe Brown? I see you kicking it with us still.
I'm still breathing. Okay. And happy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I hope everybody's okay and happy birthday, Dana.
Thank you. Appreciate that. You don't have anything that bring to the floor what's going on or anything you wanted to say?
Oh no, I'm actually at work right now, so I just been following along. I can't really
Oh, okay.
say too much. I'm in a noisy kitchen.
Right. Okay, cool. Appreciate you coming up. Okay, we don't have any more new speakers. So listen, it is still open mic, so you guys can still request to come up to ask or say anything. There's really no underlying theme title except for shout out to everybody on YouTube. I did put on YouTube. I want to swing back to this conversation. Trump crackdown sparks massive deployment in Chicago. Yeah, he got what 300 National Guards from Texas, and they are in Chicago. He got the federal agents there, and the Chicagoans are happy, especially, particularly the black residents in Chicago. Majority of them are happy. So we could swing back to that main topic.
Please, let's
As
do
a
that.
Texan, yeah, let's do it. I'm a Texan, so let's talk
Oh,
about it.
okay.
Will you answer my question? Because I was wondering if you guys know what was going on in Chicago.
Well, I can tell you what's going on in Memphis. I've been out looking at it. The National Guard is here. And with the state police, they've made 780 some arrests in the last week, felony arrests. They've gotten 70 some illegal guns off the street. They've recovered somebody who was kidnapped. They've got warrants that they've been finding that were unserved for decades, and they've been serving them. And the streets are quiet. People are peaceful and enjoying themselves, and there's a lot less element of fear. And nobody's complaining except the local Democrat stooges. So it's interesting.
Well, I don't know if we have any Chicago people in the audience, but
Well, Dana, I've been listening to Mark Carter, and he's loving it. I mean, he was pushing back. Him and Swayme were posting his space the last few days. They were talking about
yeah, I know
how
he. Where's is he? Well, he's probably like in for the night. He usually does
I'll
his.
hit him up. I'll see if he'll come
Yeah,
through.
because I know he usually does his space early in the day. So if he's available, I'll just bring him straight up. But yeah, so
And I want to hear from Governor Yabba Dabba Doo and let's go Brandon
right.
Jr.
That needs to be the new tagline. Let's go, Brandon.
Let's
um,
go Brandon 2, part 2.
you got to tell people who's Yabba Dabba Doo.
That's the governor of Illinois. Doesn't he? He looks just like the character,
Fred
the actor
Flintstone.
that played Fred Flintstone.
Yeah,
So they
and the
need to get up
cartoon.
with, yeah. So they need to get up with a bunch of Barneys up in the prison somewhere.
Right.
Who was that? That was
Governor,
John Goodman, right? John Goodman played
Yeah,
the
John
yeah,
Goodman.
Flintstone.
doesn't he look like the
Yes.
governor? If they want to
He
do a
does. I
story
didn't
on
even
the
think about
governor,
that.
they could have him playing it.
Hey,
Governor
just real.
Yabba Dabba Doo
I'm
and
about
Let's
to.
Go
That's
Brandon,
hilarious.
part
Exactly.
2.
I'm about to skip out, and I enjoyed being here. Look, I'm y'all having a great space. Just really quick. Also in Memphis, they found 5 children that had been missing. So praise Jesus, right? Praise the Lord.
Well, it's
Mhm.
good.
Mhm.
I don't get it with these Democrats. Every society that's ever been on the planet Earth appreciates law and order. That is the primary duty of the king, the princes, the barons, the dukes, the earls, the potentates, the sultans, is to impose law and order where they are. And for some reason, these clowns want lawlessness. It's not going down. They have contributed to its multiplication ad nauseum, and they object to law and order. And then they're talking about this is a step toward fascism. Well, hell, what the devil did they think they were doing under Biden, Harris, and Obama, Biden? But imposing thought policing, and not just on what you say the wrong way, where it may be obscene or showing pornography, which is all right, as extensive as you want to get. They even have fat ass Lizzo showing her bare ass on a Lakers playoff game in front of tens of thousands of young children. That's okay. But you can't have certain ideas anymore. That's supposed to be bad. At least that's where they were going until they got defeated. But they're trying to make a comeback. They don't have any policy. It's just anybody that's trying to ensure that you get free speech and in the same time go deal with making it safe on the streets to have the free speech. Somehow or another, that's fascism, when what they were doing, with what they are doing, is flipping the script. That's a typical fascist move. I mean, it's just
Judge,
amazing. Like the public is too stupid to recognize this. They
Judge, the only way
assume.
you could rationalize it is to say that they were doing it on purpose, right? If you look at like a Cloward Piven strategy, the design is to overload the system to crash it so they can ultimately take control. Because who in their right mind wants crime-ridden areas? You don't have business, you have a flight of capital. I mean, if an area is doing well, you're going to have businesses that are going to want to be there. You're going to have a vibrant community. There's going to be arts and culture. Why would you not want to protect that? It's only going to make the area better for everyone to live. A rising tide lifts all boats. So you could only look at it through the lens of them doing it on purpose. And it's so that they can ultimately control everything, similar to what we're seeing in Europe, sweeping across, starting in the UK and sweeping across Europe with digital ID, right? And it's CCP style rule, because a lot of these people are dyed in the wool Marxists, and they don't hide it as well as they used to. But if you look at everything they're doing, it has a sinister undertone of ultimate control and Marxist ideology, and that's the only way I see it. It's that their gravy train is up, and they don't want to relinquish control, which they thought they were going to have forever.
I okay.
One other thing, too. This is on your behalf, Dana. It's Dana's birthday. Please, nobody come on and want to talk about being a victim. Please, hold that bullshit inside your own head. We're talking man and woman here tonight. No good woman is having a birthday. So let's make it happy instead of listening to somebody go weep and moan about what their problems are because somebody's picking on them. Don't want to hear it. I don't. And
So
I'm sure she doesn't.
you're gonna throw me in the mix.
Why not?
Oh God.
You're
Um.
prettier than I am. So anyway, there you
Well,
go.
Exorcist, you had your hand up before I go to and Deborah had her hand up too, and I know Dee just came up, but I know you were at work, so you wanted to say
Oh,
something?
yeah, I don't know if I missed it earlier, if anybody already asked, if Judge, in Memphis, have they already did the National Guard thing, and how's it working out if they did?
They've already done it. It's 1 day shy of a week. They've already made close to 700 arrests. They've seized a whole bunch of illegal guns. They have freed some kidnapped children. They found another kidnapped victim. The streets are peaceful. There hasn't been a robbery or a shooting in the last week, which is unusual for Memphis since it's the most violent city in the United States and 10th most in the world. And the Democrats are hollering about this as fascism when, hell, it's just law and order. And the ones that are yelling the loudest around here about that are the worst thieves, and I think they need to be investigated. So it's working real well, and the citizenry is almost universally in favor of more of the same, with the exception of the Democratic Party functionaries.
Judge, to that point, right? So, do you, if they could sustain this effort for the next 4 years or even more, do you see the criminal element, you know, staying out of the city, moving somewhere else, or are these individuals actually going to be incarcerated so we don't have to worry about them, for the next
Well,
decade plus?
I think the worst problem is that under the Democratic Party and the far left, with their control of the communications industry, the entertainment industry, and the news industry, they have popularized and legitimated criminal violence. They have made it okay. They've been showing with fervor, favorable fervor, all of the burnings that happened with the George Floyd BLM riots a few years ago. They have made this the popular thing to do. Their ideation is that they've come up with rap music where they're talking about drugs and grams and murders and killings and pimping and simping and doing stuff where you don't work, but you have somebody taking care of you. That's not good for anybody to have your official organs of communication to popularize that and glorify dysfunction. It just doesn't work. We need to turn that around. There need to be some standards about what you can broadcast to children, for example. You go on Netflix, and I listened to something Musk posted, and I checked out Netflix. And they've got some of the most sex laden, weird sex laden stuff, tranny stuff on programming for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old children. It's astonishing. And the parents don't even realize it. I
Yeah, Judge,
mean,
the same thing I've seen in a lot of these games they play, Roblox and other ones. You don't realize that they're grooming the kids, and there's actually pedophiles on there. Um, I talked about this the other day, and a lot of people said it was barbaric, but I think if we find individuals that are molesting children or even rapists, um, I think public torture and burning them at the stake, and we could watch it on pay-per-view, would actually solve the problem when you talk about deterrence, right? General deterrence. Um,
I
I know it's. Go ahead,
I
Judge.
agree with you. I've signed death warrants and set execution dates. Um, I always said, why do you do it in a nice, nasty fashion behind closed doors where you lay somebody out, you put them to sleep, and then poison them, fry them,
Yep.
put them in front of a firing squad, hang them at high noon, and make all of the local radio stations, television stations cover the thing live.
So,
Right.
I'm gonna go to D. Then I'm gonna swing back to you, Deborah. I want to let new speakers get a chance to speak, but I'm definitely gonna come back to you next. And FYI, I like when things get spicy. So, if anybody want to come up and you want to talk about quote unquote race, fine. I don't have a problem with it. The judge may do it, but just don't mention white supremacy. Like, let's lay off of the word white supremacy. So yeah, because I don't wanna prohibit or censor people to not talk about something. Um, Go ahead, D.
Hi, Dina. Happy
Thank
birthday.
you.
I just wanted to say happy birthday. I don't really have anything to add. I was just going to sit back and listen for right now because I don't even know where you are in the conversation. But happy birthday. I hope you had a wonderful
Thank
day.
you. I appreciate that. We're everywhere in the
Hi.
conversation because it's open mic.
Hi, Peter. Hi, Judge.
Hi
Hey,
Just
there.
D.
wanted to say hi to everybody. Okay, I'm going to sit and listen.
All right, cool. Go ahead,
D,
Deborah.
if you can, just
Mhm.
one second. I want to ask D what is her thoughts on the mayoral race in New York
Oh,
are
that's
right now.
right. Yeah, she's there.
Oh, okay. So I really don't think Sliwa has a chance, personally. It's just like little small bubbles of like my neighborhood, for example. They're hardcore Sliwa, but I don't really think he has a chance. He already got like demolished before, and I'm personally voting for Cuomo because I'm not gonna risk voting for Sliwa and then go with and then get Mamdani. I think we're getting him no matter what, but I don't know. It doesn't look good.
Yeah, I mean, at least you're keeping it 100 and it doesn't look good. A lot of people are saying that. Go ahead. Oh, Deborah, you in New York too, right?
Yeah, I was involved in the whole, election process, and it's not a good thing. They don't educate people on who to vote, how to vote. They just tell people who to vote for, and they do it. And nobody really knows who's going to be on the ballot. Rumor has it that Eric is going to be on the ballot. And I was determined, it looked like he had learned some lessons. He did want to try to do some things in the city. So a lot of us were saying that we were going to vote for him, but I'm just going to flip a quarter before I go in. I don't know.
Just really
It's
quick,
pretty
Deborah, he
bad.
is on the ballot. We got the
He
ballot already.
is.
My father-in-law, he gets a mail-in ballot because he's sick. He's on the ballot.
Mm-hmm.
Eric's on it.
Oh well. Yep. And I don't know about Sliwa, but according to Trump, if would Maldani be illegal? I mean, could Trump really appoint somebody to that position if, I've heard some fallout that Maldani could be an illegitimate candidate because he's never really had a job before and he's never legislated before. And I just don't think he understands the, uh, capacity of New York City, how big it is and how many agencies there are. And, I just don't think he could handle that
Judge,
budget,
can you mute up because we can hear everything you're doing in your house? Go ahead, Deborah.
What am I
Yeah,
doing?
I was just wondering, like, if, this guy's never had a job, could they actually, if he's elected and then his henchmen, the people that are around him, they're all like trust fund babies, like nobody has any experience. Like, is there anything that can be done? I mean, could they just put this guy in and he has no experience?
May I
They
ask you
could,
a
Deb.
question? May
Go
I
ahead,
ask you a
Judge.
Mm-hmm.
question? Is he
Mm-hmm.
running for a city or municipal office?
He's running for
Mayor,
mayor.
Mayor
Yeah.
Well,
Judge of New
the
York City.
president has no authority over that.
Okay.
Under that situation, that's up to the state, and that's up to the county, and that's up to the city.
Okay.
Now, the
He,
president has
he
said he's not. He's gonna remove funding for certain parts of the
Oh
city.
yeah,
well,
funding. Yep,
he
he
can
did say
do
that.
that if there's federal
Mm-hmm.
funding. He might be able to axe that. That's indirect influence, but he can't say no. The citizens of New York can't pick this guy.
Okay.
Uh, even well, for the a lot of the even a lot of the federal offices are tied into state qualifications.
Mm-hmm.
So that you can't do that unless somebody is getting prosecuted, which they tried to do with Trump. So he couldn't even run for president, or Fannie Willis was trying to do down in Georgia, or you got Tish doing up in New York, or Fox doing in Illinois, where they use the offices for political repression. That's always been uh, an inclination from the wrong side of things, whatever that might be at a given during a given decade throughout the country's history. So it's something we have to stay on top of and be ever mindful of.
Well, here in New York City, you can write your name in too, and a lot of people are writing other people's names in. Every year, they get a higher percentage of people's names being written in or not voting for anybody at all. So,
Well, not voting for anybody at all is actually casting a vote.
I know,
Most people
I
don't
know.
realize that, and it's the worst kind because it allows somebody else to make a determination in their favor by your absence.
Well, I've met a lot of people who said they have no choice, so they cast a blank ballot.
That's not good. Write something
Mm-hmm.
in. Write your dog in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I don't know why Slee was not dropping out. I mean, I don't know what type of polling he's looking at, but it makes no sense. I mean, he's going to deliver it up on a silver platter if he doesn't drop out now. I just don't. I don't see the strategy or
But
why
people are
he's doing it.
stepping up to endorse him out of the woodwork. Some Democrats are stepping up to endorse him, and I don't know. I think it's going to be a pretty interesting day.
I mean, Deborah, with the mail-in voting they have there, unless Republicans come out and vote early with the mail-in voting, they're not going to win.
Well,
Traditionally,
not only that, like in the district where I live, there's 500,000 Democrats and 600 Republicans.
Five is how many Democrats?
500,000.
Oh wow, yeah, so it's outnumbered. Go ahead, D.
Mhm.
If you go out someplace in
Okay,
farmland,
so
you can see a lot of jackasses running wild.
For sure.
I think that the vote is split. I think that Sliwa should drop. Obviously, we know he's the best candidate, but no one's even listening to him because New York City is like run by such a younger generation right now, and Mamdani is in their ear. Um, they're not voting for Cuomo. They're not voting for Sliwa. Sliwa's not even on anybody's radar. It's just like I said, very small Republican populations, like certain districts. Um, but I feel like a vote for Sliwa is a vote for Mamdani because to I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, Cuomo should drop," and let I don't. I still think that if Cuomo drops, and it goes just Sliwa and Adams. I mean Sliwa and Mamdani. I still think Mamdani's going to win because I just feel that to think that the person that's coming in second that drops out and the person that's coming in third is gonna pick up those votes. It's just not gonna happen. People will sit it out. I think that we're more likely to get Republicans to vote for Cuomo before we are to get Democrats to vote for a Republican. They won't do it just because there's an R in front of his name, And I don't want to vote for Cuomo. I fucking hate him. He's disgusting. He's a piece of shit.
Who did
But I rather
Giuliani? Didn't Giuliani just endorse someone? Who did he endorse?
that's even worse here in New York City because same thing. So if Giuliani endorses him, if Trump endorses him, it's even worse because New York City hasn't voted Republican in 20 plus years, so to over 2 decades. And I don't count Bloomberg because Bloomberg only switched to Republican
But he
for
was
us like
he's
six
an he was an
years.
independent Bloomberg.
He was Democrat, then he went to Republican, then he went to
Hmm.
Independent, and then he went back to Democrat. So, and he only did that for strategic purposes. He really didn't do that because he wanted to be a Republican. So, my point is that I think we're definitely in for a rude awakening. But at the end of the day, is maybe that will get everybody the fuck out of the city and let it burn to shit. I really don't know at this point
Well, well,
because
there's a bigger game in play. I learned the hard way. Actually, the Republicans do run New York City, but they have the money and they make the decisions, and the Democrats are just chosen at will, to do what they do. But Republicans have a lot of power because you have to have both parties decide who the politicians are going to be. So as quiet as it's kept, Republicans actually do have a lot of power because they have the money. They run the board of elections. They have a lot of key positions. They choose judges. They assist in choosing judges. So there's a lot that people aren't aware of, and you would never become aware of it until you dug down deep to see how they run elections, and it's
so
it's
I don't
it's
understand how
interesting
that is if we never had anybody Republican in over 20 years here or
because
even come.
the Republicans are in office, are in position to make decisions as electors. That you don't see that. You only see the number of Democrats that run for office, but the Republicans actually make a lot of decisions behind closed doors. They do.
Um,
But Deborah, that's surprising to hear because you take a look at all the judges that are there and they're so left
Hmm.
hating. I mean, especially with the bail reform, they're letting people out who've committed crimes willy nilly and they continue to commit the same crimes and they put them right back on the street, similar to what we saw with Jordan Neely, where we had to
Well,
have.
there's another problem. A lot of those people are, not, natural born Americans. They come from other places, and they don't really understand, the Constitution, and they do what people tell them to do, and they
But the
they choose these
Republicans,
so I want
judges.
but
I
the
want to
Republicans are. Go ahead, David.
no, I said I
Yeah.
wanted to get to Calvin next. So go ahead and finish up, and then Calvin is next.
When you
No,
get
I
when
just
you
wanted
get
I just
through
wanted to say that because I saw it firsthand, and it's still unbelievable. But
when you get
that's
through
There
with
aren't even
Calvin,
any
let me say
Republicans
something.
on the ballot.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying they make decisions behind closed doors. I'm not saying you may not see them on the ballot, but they make a lot of decisions. That's
So
that's
you're
what I'm
you're saying
saying.
they hold up the administration, but basically they're
Yes.
in administrative positions. Okay.
Yes.
They may be puppet masters pulling the strings.
Exactly. Exactly. Judge always knows what to say.
And
Ca-
by the way, let me make a comment when you get through with the next speaker.
go ahead, Calvin.
Hello,
Yes,
can you hear me?
yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you. Don't laugh. God bless you guys. Keep up the good work. I'm in London. What time is it now, please?
It's 8:18 on the Pacific and it's 11:18 East Coast.
Thank you. I'm only here to learn. God bless you guys. And what's happening in Chicago? I'm in London.
We're trying to get law and order in Chicago because it's completely out of control and it's not safe for anybody to walk on the streets. And some people are
Thank
trying
you.
to say they'd rather have the crime so everything burns to the ground than they
Wow.
would law and order because it doesn't suit their fancy. Anarchy is good for their business.
Thank you, big man.
All right, sir.
I got two more questions. Don't run.
I'm not running. I'm here
Okay. You ready?
listening.
What's happening with that guy? I'm not calling no name. They shot him, and it wasn't a black person. The guy that keep chatting shit. He goes in the schools. He make problem. Now they got a statue for him.
Who are you talking about?
What's his name? Charlie or something?
Are you talking about Kirk?
Charlie Kirk.
Thank
Well,
you. Thank you. Don't laugh.
the
I'm,
answer to that is this. Sometimes it's not the message, but the messenger. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the messenger has a great deal of resonance with the public. And if you
Thank you.
martyr the messenger, what you do is the martyrdom motivates the masses. So that's what's
Mm-hmm.
happened.
Well done. Thank you. I'm learning.
Okay.
Can
Next
I speak
question. You have
to...
one more, you said. Go ahead.
Don't
I'll
roast
wait.
me, right?
Well, you haven't
Don't
said
roast
anything.
me.
Nobody's
yeah,
got the
we know you're
inclination
doing a
to.
shtick, but go ahead. You can do your shtick. Go ahead.
I'm learning. I'm learning.
Yeah, I know you're learning. Yeah.
Do you know there's a statue in New York, and she looks like a tether? Do you know the statue?
Why don't you tell us the statue instead of trying to draw it out like you're pulling teeth on us? What are you talking
I
about?
have no idea what one of the many hundreds of statues in the city of New York, you're talking about.
Mhm.
Give us a clue.
There's a lady with a statue that someone made, and it looks like an immigrant, and it's in New York
Well,
with the slipper. Sorry,
since
manners.
let me say this: since there is nobody, even including the Native Americans, who is not some form of immigrant to the more
Hmm.
North American continent, anybody you make a statue of is going to be an immigrant. So give us
Thank you.
another clue. We still aren't getting it.
I don't want to mess up the thing. God bless
You're
you
not
guys.
messing
But
anything up, but
He's talking
nice
about the
try.
statue of the black woman that the artist had put up in
there
Times
we go.
Square.
Times Square. My
Okay.
bad.
Yeah.
So, okay,
So what
okay,
about
all
the
right.
statue? What did?
No, interject. I love you guys. This is really nice. God bless you
Okay,
guys.
bless you.
Teach me.
Thank you.
All right, I want to get to Immortal. And then we're going to close at midnight because we're having a slow night tonight. So if anybody want to say anything, you better come up now because we're ending at midnight.
I was enjoying tonight.
Yeah, because you don't want no one pushing any type of certain topics. But I am inviting people to come up and speak
Yeah.
about whatever, whenever. So, and we don't do no censorship up here. Go ahead, Immortal.
Greetings, the lovely and talented Dana, the Honorable Judge Joe Brown, and what's up, Loki? What's up, man?
What's going on?
Why can't Loki
Uh,
get a nice welcome reception?
I said hello. I didn't give no
Listen,
hard
I'll
time.
take it, Dana. I'll take it. I've been called a lot worse by Immortal, so I'll take the hello. Absolutely.
And greetings to Loki. Okay, and then so I just wanted to look at that and say happy birthday, Dana.
Thank
Uh,
you.
I want to sing when I see it's your birthday. It reminds me of a Bobby Brown song called Tenderoni. Now I'm going to spare you and not sing it, but just know I'm singing it and I'm adding birthday wishes to you. in that song. I'm singing it in my head.
Thank you. I
Tender,
appreciate it.
yeah, yeah. Hey, greetings. And so we say justice for all with Judge Joe Brown. So I don't really know what the topic is. He sound
Well,
like
it's
the
open
guy with.
mic. I just put my birthday in there instead. And on YouTube, the title I did put because we was talking about Trump crackdown sparks massive deployment in Chicago. You know, with the National Guards, federal
Mm.
agents in Portland and Chicago. So and in Memphis. So the migrant crisis, and we was mentioning Diddy as well. And then it could be whatever else you want to throw on the table.
Well, I do think that the migrant crisis needs to be dealt with. I think that there are better ways to do it, though. That's all. I think there are better ways to do it.
Like
I was talking
what
about this
other
earlier.
ways? What other ways are better than getting them rounding them up by the ICE agents or ICE? And what's another better way?
Well, to illustrate the better way, and citizens do have to become involved. There was another young lady who lived in the Bay Area. This is a couple of years ago, a few years ago, and what she did, she noticed where there was a whole bunch of immigrants, and they were probably working somewhere. They were working there illegally, being mistreated, and things like that. They mistreat these immigrants when they come over here. They don't get bathroom breaks. They don't get overtime. They don't get, it's a lot of things they have to do to. So that's not good. So what she did was she called ICE, and they came and got and dealt with the problem. They came directly to where she pointed to, went straight there, got the illegal immigrants, and left. Period. Didn't bother no citizens. I didn't hear not one American
Wait a
citizen
minute.
have
So what you just
accosted.
described, ICE has been doing that. The citizens are the ones
Nah,
attacking the agents.
nah. What they're doing now is a dragnet style thing where they just roam the neighborhood, snatching up anybody randomly. And when you do that, I don't mind if you snatch up some immigrants, but that puts Black Americans in the crosshairs, and Black Americans in Chicago have experienced, and in DC have experienced harassment by these people. They have, and I don't think that's the way you should do that.
Okay, may I ask
But
you a
immortal.
question? May I ask
Go
you a
ahead, Judge.
question?
Black Americans are not.
What group of illegal immigrants are Black Americans supposed to resemble?
Well, that's the thing. It's not whether we resemble them or not, because they'll come in and say, "Well, we're checking everybody, and even if you are a Black American and you are a citizen, if you have a warrant, then we're gonna detain you."
Well, but how is that profiling somebody? Since I mean, well, it's not saying that somebody might not come in from Costa Rica or someplace in the Caribbean or come across from Africa, that it seems to be happening since people have gotten through the border that way. They've traveled from the Middle East too. So, but that doesn't quite resonate with me because I'm trying to figure out what the bias is. In other words, you're saying they're engaged in the same old, same old. They're not profiling, they're pulling everybody over.
Right, and I don't feel like Americans should have to deal with that, and they know
Well,
where the issues
where do
are
you live? Where do you live?
to be handcuffed by ICE
No, let me
in
ask you something. Where do you live? What city you live
St. Louis.
in? Okay, do you remember September 11th, 2001?
I do.
Okay, what happened 2001, September 11th?
That was the World Trade Center tragedy.
Okay, also the Pentagon, too. And what did those people have to do in order to do what they did to the Twin Towers and attempt to do to the Pentagon? They had to
Um,
hijack some airplanes, and some of them had to infiltrate the country uh, and get pilot training, and then they had to hijack some airplanes, right?
yes, sir.
And that was supposed to be Al Qaeda, right? Osama
Allegedly.
bin Laden. Okay.
Allegedly.
Well, Al Qaeda hasn't gone away, it's still out there. We have ISIS, which developed in the interim after the incidents in Iraq 2003 through 2007. And now we've got Hamas. And let's see, Iran has continued to be irritated since during the early part of the Ayatollah Khomeini's regime in 1979 when they hijacked an American embassy over there. And let's see, now we have North Korea that has nukes and uh, very large military, and we have the People's Republic of China that is possessed of high technology. They don't like the United States, and they don't have B 2 bombers to go from Montana to the Middle East to conduct bombing raids that take 30 some hours. They don't have bones, B 1s, that is. They don't have B 52s. But they don't have to hijack airplanes anymore. They don't have to get pilots training anymore. All they had to do was walk across a wide open border without even getting a cursory stop. Nobody checked their backpacks for military grade explosives or detonation devices. They don't have to be suicide bombers. They can carefully take their time putting their explosives in places in strategic and tactical locations. And when they get the orders, they can flip the switches to set off or detonate the explosives. It's not really illegal migrants. What's going on is the United States is in an active condition of war with a number of people who hate us dearly
They
and
don't hate.
who they
They
hate the
don't.
hell out of this country, and they would be willing to commit suicide to do something about it, but they
None of
don't
them people.
have to.
I just want you to know that they don't hate me. I ain't did nothing to them.
Oh, you're
That's
part of
that's
no,
my
no,
government
no,
did.
no, no, no. It doesn't
Hey,
work that way. The United States bombed the hell, so did Great Britain bomb the hell out of Germany because the citizens allowed the Nazis to be in control. They bombed the crap out of Japan because the Japanese allowed their emperor to be in control. Do you know that they only killed 80 some thousand people at Hiroshima on the blast, nuclear blast up front? There were at least three incidents where they killed 200 to 250,000 people in one night that took place in Tokyo. That's 750,000 people. They got burnt alive by firebombing by the U.S. Air Force. So we uh, don't care, and nobody else does. You were
hey, Mark,
part of it because you live here.
you
You
can't make
can't
me.
get away from it. And if
I'm
you
away.
happen to be in the wrong place, wrong time, you get blown up too. You're walking down the street in St. Louis and somebody sets off a large scale detonation. You get wiped out because you're within a block of the blast. You can't escape. It's going to impact you. So maybe it's not illegal migrants, it's those who have infiltrated the country without opposition who may be getting ready to do something bad to the country. Maybe that's what's really going on, but the you
Well, I don't
know,
disagree,
but the
but
communications industry and the news industry doesn't want you to look at it that way. So they say illegal migrants. Like, oh, these poor people trying to escape oppression are coming over here to take advantage of what we offer. No, there are possibly a couple of million people, a million and a half, a million, or 500,000 people who are sworn to kill us. And they're here, and nobody cared. They're just wide open.
well,
Does
I don't disagree with what you're saying. The premise of what you're saying, the United States government has went across the globe and did some scurrilous things, human rights violations, genocides, all of that. And the whole time, Black Americans have been here speaking out against it, even dying because of it. It killed Martin Luther King. It wasn't because he was speaking up for Black Americans. He was anti-war. He was trying to unify Black folks and poor white people. They didn't like any of that, so they killed him. You know. So, but my thing about, so I agree with that, but I think the people around the world know. And you're right. if they drop a bomb in St. Louis, I'm subject to get hit, black or not, you know. But at the same time, I think that would be a waste of munitions if they drop it on my side of town or affect my people, because we've been the ones that have been telling the government, stop doing that, stop harming them people, stop robbing those nations, stop bombing them, stop murdering them or their leaders, stop doing all that, and stop doing it to us. That's been our thing. You know, so they shouldn't have a problem with us. Now, if a lot of black folks, they want to put themselves, they want to say we, it's us and we. There ain't no us and we. If it was us and we, I would have reparations just like the Japanese, just like the Jewish people, just like the Native Americans, just like the people who got bombed in the Twin Towers. I would have my compensation for what happened to me and the government and what happened to my family for generations and generations all the way up to me. I would have that,
We
you know.
got it.
But
We
there's
got it.
no
It
we.
was January 16th, 1865, courtesy of General William Tecumseh Sherman, backed up by General Grant, backed up
They
by
took
Abraham Lincoln in the Republican House and Senate. That was 40 acres and a mule.
well, they took it back,
And they
but
took
don't
it
count.
back when a Democrat who Lincoln had selected as his running mate to do reconciliation became president. His name was Johnson. He was from Tennessee. And he issued an order, since it was still a military district in the southern portion of the country that was involved, and revoked all of that. And we haven't had identifiable reparations since.
Why didn't the good, clean, wholesome white folks like Loki turn around and say, "No, you know, we're not gonna. This is America. We're not gonna do that. We don't do that." But he didn't.
Well,
He
well,
didn't.
here's the thing. Those
Let's talk
people
about
were
Democrats.
identifiable at their age. They were impacted directly and personally by slavery. Nobody else has gotten reparations unless there was an identifiable personal impact. The Japanese, who got their form of reparations, they were known because they had been interned in the camps. There were lists of who they were. You talk about the Jews that got the reparations of a sort, they were people who had been in these internment camps. The
Yeah,
only
I know.
ones that have gotten it without recourse is the Democratic Party. The Black Caucus helped sponsor the Gay Reparations Act, which basically just dealt with
Yeah,
insurance compensation 2 weeks after they had that charade 5 years ago about we are going to study the reparations question, which they never did anything about, but it was passed on the first voice vote without debate. That was
look, look,
called the Gay Reparations Act by the
yeah,
Democratic Party. So, I mean, we get game run on us. Don't fall for the game.
that's right. And then let me tell you how I see the game, because everybody got their own vantage point. Well, how I see the game, let's take this shutdown, for example. You got the Democrats pointing at the Republicans, Republicans pointing at the Democrats, and look how the game is going, though. They in on that together. And let me tell you why. Let me tell you why they're in on that together. Both sides knew when they're going to shut the government down. Both sides know right now when they're going to open it back up. And what they are famous for is coming into office, especially in Congress, the Senate and the House of Representatives. They famous for coming into those offices, uh, not rich, and then within a year or two being millionaires. Now, how do they do that? I'm telling you why the government is shut down and why they're in on it together, and why um, I don't subscribe to. If we didn't get reparations, it's because the Democrats and the Republicans didn't want us to get it. And if the government is shut down, it's because the Democrats and Republicans don't want it open. And the reason why they don't want it open right now, and every other time they shut it down, is because they play that stock game. Shutting down the government causes some stocks to go up. It causes some stocks to go down. And if you know when the government is going to shut down, and you have insider information on how that's going to affect certain stocks, then the ones that go up, you're going to invest on it before you shut the government down. The ones that are going to go down, you're going to put what they call it, what they call it, you're going to hedge your bets against them for going down. They call it something. I can't bring it to mind right now.
Do you
And
play
Stop
that's the
puts.
game
let me ask you a question. Do
they do.
you play the stock market?
No,
Why not?
because of what I'm telling you now.
No, no,
It's rigged.
no, no. It's not rigged.
But
You can deal with it. Do you watch basketball?
no,
Okay. You watch a sport?
I like boxing.
Oh, boxing's cool. I like boxing. But what do you pay attention to in your spare time?
Uh, Boxing, community stuff. Community work. you
Well,
know,
let me
yeah.
say this. Let me say this. I know some billionaires personally. They tell me that doing the stock market is about in the same level as keeping up with a sports team and being able to predict when it's going to win and when not. Well, we don't. I would accept you then, since that's not your thing. But the problem is most Americans don't pay attention to the stock market or making money.
Uh oh, we lost.
What they pay
Okay.
attention to is distraction. So I know people that are billionaires who didn't start off very well. They were very poor when they started growing up, but they obsessed with making money and they made a lot of it. Um, a lot of your rap artists came out the hood, but some of them are very, very rich now. They don't do much with it, but they made the money. So what I did find out about the very rich and influential is they sleep 3, 4 hours a night. That's all. And they work 7 days a week. They're always on call to do work. They party hard, but they work their asses off. They work harder than the average person. Yeah, they're the trust fund idiots, and that's what they call them too. They call them trust fund pussies because they don't do anything except spend money that they didn't make. Even the billionaires don't like that group. So it's you got a group of people that will work very, very hard. They are, I guess the word would be blessed with high intelligence and an acumen. But it's like anything else. You put the effort in and you can possibly get good with at it if you have what it takes, the talent to do it.
All right.
Well, last thing, I just wanted to get the last point out because I
Go
understand
ahead.
that our
Go ahead.
controversial view.
Go
Uh,
ahead.
I'll take care of it. I got controversial views and stuff like
Well,
that,
your
but
views are not controversial. They're just their
what
views.
I'm
Go ahead.
trying, what I'm trying to say is they agreed on reparations, not to give it to us. They agreed on that. They agreed on shutting down the government because it makes them money. And as far as the stock market goes, they using this shutdown to make money through that stock market. And then tell you another thing about the stock market. 50% of every dollar that flows through the stock market is drug money being laundered. So that's why I don't deal with it because I ain't savvy enough. Follow it. I don't want my money taken. I don't gamble. I don't really gamble. I might buy a lottery ticket here or there, a few dollars, $5, but I don't gamble my money like that. So yeah,
Can I
Okay.
make an
But Amora,
observation?
we started out right talking about you with your segment. You talked about you don't like the way that the government is going about removing the illegals, right? And then Judge gave a counterpoint that these aren't your tired, hungry, huddled masses from I think it's Emma. I want to say Emma Lazarus's poem, right on the Statue of Liberty. That these are actually individuals who are here with malicious and ill intent to do us harm as a nation, right? And I posted something in the nest, and I put it down in the comments. They literally just found a group with 100,000 and 200,000, respectively, SIM cards that they're using to cripple our communications and telecommunications network, so they can then launch other attacks at the same time. This is also a group with the CCP that brings in different biological weapons, as well as biological warfare that takes out crops so that our food won't be able to grow. I mean, we face an insidious enemy that is within the country, let in through the Biden administration. So if the government needs to inconvenience some people to get these people out to save everyone, I'm fine with it.
that's where we disagree because all that's not going on, all that's not being done by Black Americans. We don't got
Well,
200.
so what? Black Americans are what? 11%, 9%, 6% of the country's population. We don't
You go to
dictate
all.
everything. We're
All
here.
right, so let can I want to
all
start moving to I want to start moving to
May
other
I may
speakers
I
because
make
people
one
have been
point
waiting.
about this as a clarification
Well,
very
can
quickly?
it
Hold on, very
can you
quickly. The stated reason for the breakdown and the close down of the funding for the government is this. The Republicans say no how, no way are they going to sign off on and agree to illegal migrants, as you term them, being allowed to collect benefits for health care when Americans can't get those benefits, nor to continue to okay up to $5,000 a month for somebody who is here unlawfully. That's what the issue is. The Democrats say we aren't going to agree to any budget until you agree to okay the medical cost for illegals and subsidizing their existence here. And the Republicans are saying, no way, we're not going to betray the American public. So that's not both sides being at fault. That's both sides saying, no, our position is logical, reasonable, rational, and pro United States, and yours isn't. So
all right,
there you go.
all right. I need to go. It's the thinker, then resurrection, and Mr. Sand, and I say, and then we're gonna close out. Go ahead, the thinker.
Happy birthday, Dana. I had to come
Thank
up here and
you.
say that. I was listening, but I did want to say happy birthday to you. So I wish you well and hope you enjoy your week and the weekend for your
Yeah,
birthday.
I celebrate for the whole month.
Yay, the whole month. So
Yeah.
wonderful. Well, happy birthday. And
Thank you so
Honorable
much.
Judge Joe Brown, I talk about you all the time, and you have a lot of fans. The youth generation, they really follow you. So thank you for your service. I do have a comment and then a question for the judge. The comment, was just around that conversation we just had. It's really funny to me to hear someone kind of promote um, illegal migrants being here, getting health care, taking that money, but in the same breath, talk about, we need reparations. I don't understand that argument. How can we just give money
Argument.
away
I never
to
made.
I'm just making a comment. It just seems like how can you be for both like reparations and illegals getting money that is for
No,
Americans?
that's
It just seems
that's what.
like that's where you're kind of coming up to.
Well, that seems wrong.
Okay, well
That's
that's
not
what
my point.
it seems like, you were saying the government shut down because they didn't
No,
want to
I said
give reparations to black folk. Like maybe not understanding why the government shut down. But anyway, I wanted to make that comment because I felt like it was interesting to hold those two views. They just were not logical to me. My question to you, Judge, though, I was listening to the Attorney General Pam Bondi's um, oversight hearing today, and she talked about there were like 90 plus judges who have blocked the Trump administration, and they have had over 400 and some lawsuits already in the administration. So I'm curious of your thoughts about this issue with the judges, because it seems like the local judges have a lot of power, and I want to understand like the nature or the position of the judges. um they set for life, or how much power do they really have, because it seems like they have more power than the president.
I addressed that question earlier this evening, but briefly,
She wasn't in the space then.
okay, briefly, I'll say this. The system works. It's just that it's supposed to be populated by wise, intelligent, experienced people who are learned and practiced in law and wise in the ways of the world. That's not what we're getting. We're getting rookies, and we're getting people who do not have the requisite experience in life nor in law to be holding the positions that they hold. So common sense has gone out the window. That's the problem. We have this thing, this penchant these days for all we need is a program and it'll be all right. That's not what it is. It's the people. The only thing a program can do is facilitate the right people doing the right thing, hopefully. But we don't get it that we have to deal with people because we have this thing about we're just as good as anybody else. Now, we may be intrinsically as good as anybody else, but we don't necessarily find ourselves able to do what others do. We can't dunk a ball like Shaq used to. We can't do what LeBron does. We can't do what some people on a championship NBA team can do with a basketball. They can't necessarily do what a running back can do on a football field, nor are they necessarily going to be able to swim like a good swimmer. But we all have different things we can do, but we all want to be about our fantasies. And we pick people who are not really qualified for the position. We've got somebody, Dana and I talk about, who's supposed to be the go to civil rights lawyer in the United States, and that person has never tried a jury case. He's an amateur, but people think of him as an expert, a master of the subject. You've got others like Willie Gary. He's a black lawyer. He's in his early mid 70s, and he holds the record for the largest jury verdict in American history. He also has the fourth largest jury verdict in American history, and the sixth and the eighth in American history. And he has four of the top 10 settlements in American history, but nobody puts him out there as the go to person when you have a bad situation. We go to somebody that is notorious for low settlements because they hardball him and say, "You've never tried a case. Let's go to trial and see what you got." And he can't afford the embarrassment. But we all say, "Oh, he's the expert." And you always see the person show up every single time something happens and he mouths off nonsense. Now, that being the case, that's an example of what we don't know. Now, I will add this and then I have nothing else to go to it. I'll speak to elementary school kids and I'll say, "How many of you are in the sixth grade here? Hold your hands up." I say, "Do any of you know what it's going to be like in the seventh grade?" No, you don't, because you haven't been there yet. Do you remember what it was like in the fifth grade? Hold your hand up if you do. They hold their hands up. All right. Who's in the fifth grade? Do you remember what it was like when you were in the fourth grade? Hold your hand up if you do. Keep holding your hands up. Now, do you know what it's like in the sixth grade? Put your hands down because you ain't been there yet. We have too many people running our business that have not been to necessary stages in life, so they don't know what's there because they haven't had to deal with being sick but getting up and so somebody can get benefit of their paycheck. They haven't had anybody they love die on them. They haven't had hardship, been in danger of losing it all. They haven't been in a very dangerous situation in life and they don't know about it, but we put them in places that require that in order to develop what is known as common sense, and it backfires, and we wonder what the hell is going on because we didn't have sense enough to get it. And by the way, they used to teach this stuff in the fourth and fifth grade in a decent elementary school, but that's been 60 some years ago. And they haven't since then because everybody's damn politically correct for one little fad after another, and nobody knows shit because they didn't get taught shit. Now, that's our fault for letting that happen.
So did you answer her question about the
Yeah,
judges?
I did. The problem is they shouldn't be there because they don't have common sense. The system works, but it needs the people. And we encourage the folk that we elect to appoint nincompoops for these positions. I mentioned
Yeah, he
Quanti
answered it.
Jackson, head scratcher, who has no business being on the U.S. Supreme Court. And there were qualified, if you want a black woman, there were qualified black women also on the Second Circuit Court of Appeals who could have more properly gotten the appointment, but they didn't.
All right. I want to go to Resurrection, Mr. Sand, I say, and I thought El Hotep was up here. He must not. Okay, go ahead,
I
Resurrection.
just want to say thank you,
Hey,
Dana. Thank you, Dana, to the judge, and
Oh,
thank you,
appreciate you.
thank you. I wasn't on early, and that was perfect. It just seems like, Judge, what I took from that is there's a system in place, but these are my words. One way to kind of rig the system a little bit or game the system is if you put nincompoops in there. You know, the outcome is very different from if you put competent judges in there. So,
That's right.
thank
Let
you.
me, let me just add one little quick thing. It's like the rules to the National Basketball Association. If you put great players in, you get great game. If you put lousy players in, you get lousy game. It's not the rules, it's the players. And that's the same thing with politics and government.
Okay. Resurrection, Mr. Sand, I say, and that's it. Go ahead, Resurrection.
hey, happy birthday, Dana. And how you
Thank
doing,
you.
Judge Joe? I first started hearing about you, Dana, with Minister Jap, I think. And
Oh, okay, yeah.
I was on Judge Joe Brown's show way back in '06. He wouldn't even
Which,
he
oh, when he
probably
was on TV?
yeah, I was I was on the show. But so I too I'm from St. Louis. And I was listening to the brother that came up and spoke earlier. And my problem is this. Like we had a black female mayor all the way up until this year. And she's responsible for putting a lot of these migrants in places where black people live. Like the black people typically live on the north side. So they got a bunch of migrants that live like on Grand and 20th. I'm pretty sure the brother knows what I'm talking about. So I remember distinctly Tom Holman going on TV giving interview after interview saying that these so-called uh what do you call it, sanctuary cities, all they had to do is once they arrest these migrants who commit crimes, let ICE agents go and get those people and get them out. But you got mayors. Hello?
Yes.
We hear
Okay.
you.
But you got mayors like Brandon Johnson and Michelle Wu who say no, we're not. So those people put their citizens, including black citizens, black American FBA people, in danger because they won't do the right thing. And once they arrest these illegals for committing these heinous crimes, just letting the ICE agents go in there and get them. So you shouldn't be mad at what Trump is doing. You should be mad at what these excuse my language. You should be mad at what these Democratic leaders are doing. That's who your beef should be with. Because they're putting black Americans in harm's way by first putting those migrants where we live, and then by two, not cooperating with these people and letting them go into these jails and get these damn criminals who's committing these damn crimes. So, okay, if they are detaining a few black people and if they got warrants, hey man, you committed the crime, you got to do the time. Okay? You knew you had a warrant. My
Right.
my last thing is this. I am a little bit worried about this them coming in with federal agents, because the problem is this guy Peter Thiel, who's responsible for JD Vance being the vice president and the senator. He owns Palantir. Palantir is about complete artificial intelligence surveillance. I think the government wants to get to a point where they can do something like pre-crime, where they could just charge you without you even actually doing the crime, like Minority Report with all this artificial intelligence surveillance. I heard this dude from they just announced that he was the richest man in the world, Larry Ellison for Oracle, who's also responsible for this artificial intelligence. This dude is on record saying that he would like all citizens to have a camera on them because it would prevent them from wanting to commit a crime because they
Resurrect.
know that some.
You're right, man. They are doing this. This is what they're bringing about through Palantir and another company called Andoril. A lot of this
Yes.
is going through the Israeli. It's using Israeli infrastructure and ontology, right? They even talked about it a few weeks ago. Remember when there was a school shooting? There was a guy who went on Fox News who talked about putting out what's called Gideon. If you research what Gideon is, it's basically the command and control infrastructure using AI to scrape everything in real time and do exactly what you just said, like in Minority Report. They want to bring what is going on in the CCP, which is a social credit score system, here. They're doing it in Europe. That's what the digital ID is about. They want to bring it here. What they need to do to get everyone to capitulate is to pull off a 9/11 style attack, so that everyone is scared to death. And then you know what happens next? They say, "Well, please, Father Government, come save us. We need your help. What do you? What can we do? We just want to go back to normal." They're going to say, "Well, don't worry. We're just going to need a couple emergency powers. We're going to have to see everything you're doing all the time, and we're going to have to trace every transaction because terrorism." And that's exactly what's going to happen. So if you want to get ready for it, the best thing you could do is go off grid and learn to do a job or a skill that you could do from anywhere in the world, i.e., off grid, and get ready for what's coming because they've already planned this out. And I believe it is coming right on track with Agenda 2030, which is the UN policy. You should go pull up Agenda 2030. You'll see what they have in store for all of us. So you're
Oh
you're
yeah,
you're
I'm
right
aware.
on
I'm
mark.
aware. Klaus Schwab. Klaus Schwab. Yeah, yeah. You World Economic Forum. I know.
Well,
I
Larry
mean,
Fink Larry Fink is the new leader of WEF. So
oh
Schwab is
yeah,
out. Larry Fink is in from BlackRock.
BlackRock. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I think that a lot of people should be a little bit resident. I mean, reticent to embrace these National Guardsmen coming in and so-called cracking down on all this crime because that's ushering in us getting used to having this military police state all around us, and that's not good, man. I mean, that's just not good.
I'm with you at the same time. Like this is all part of the plan, right? The part of the plan is you overwhelm the system. They allowed the people to come in under Biden because he was bought and paid for. It was a whole criminal regime. And then what do? Oh, well, because all these people are here, we got to get them out. And that is a legitimate concern. There are legitimate nut job lunatics who want to do nothing but destroy the country, take out our critical infrastructure, destroy our power substations, turn the power off for 90 to 180 days, kill off a large portion of the population because the 72-hour supply chain collapses. There's no potable water, and you have no comms, no communications. What do you think happens at that point? You have roaming gangs of individuals, and if you're not heavily armed and clicked up with individuals who are ready to put in special pieces of work to defend their communities, you're a sitting duck. And so that is the situation that we find ourselves in now. So I'm hopeful that the president and the regime and everything they're putting in place is going to weed a lot of these people out. Sadly, I listen to people online like Sarah Adams, who is a former CIA targeter. You could find her on YouTube. She's talking about how Al Qaeda is getting ready for a 9/11 style attack. They're going to attack commercial airliners again. They're going to be attacking individuals in cities, specifically veteran communities, to make it to show that veterans that they could attack them in their very home. They're not safe even in their own homeland. Much like these individuals would be angry about being attacked in their own homeland. So the best thing you could do, man, is arm yourself, start training, stockpile food and water, 90 days at least, and get ready, and be able to put shots on target, center mass, and put people down who are coming at you.
All right,
Low-key, say
so
that again. That was
I
good.
don't. Where did he go? Wait, hold. No, he ain't gonna repeat all that shit again.
I know, but it
Um,
was good.
cause I'm getting sleepy. I already took my magnesium. But resurrection. Anything else before I go to Mr.
No, no,
Stephen?
I
One
appreciate you all
comment.
having me up.
One
Yeah.
comment. Anybody arrested is going to have to wind up going through a court. These judges are not all assholes. Some of them are good judges, competent, comprehensive, and possess common sense. And there are juries, 12 man and woman juries, and you can be part of a jury. So you will be part of the process, or people you know will be part of the process that ultimately deals with what happens in the case there is an arrest. So as long as you have juries and courts and law, you're not going to get a totalitarian situation unless you change those laws or give them up. The last administration was trying to change the law, and that's what you need to be scared of in a system like this. In a system like we have, law enforcement is not going to bring in a totalitarian regime, because that's why we have the Second Amendment, so the citizens can be armed and be the ultimate check and balance to a proposed or potentially tyrannical government. We are the check and balance. So as long as
Uh,
we serve that function, ain't gonna happen.
Um, Mr. Sand.
Yeah. Hey, happy birthday, Dana. Thank
Thank
you. I'm going to
you.
try to make this as quick as possible. To touch on the first topic, the government, the Congress, the government shutdown, the Democrats and Republicans, guys, and I'm libertarian, so take that with a grain of salt. I don't align with um, the tribalism whatsoever. I'm out of it. Um, when you look at the government, the Democrats and the Republicans, it's two different heads of the exact same snake. They're on the same team. They pass the same bills. They have $4. They spend $6 every time they pass a bill. They don't know how to manage a goddamn budget. That is where one of the focuses should be, at least in my opinion. Now, with regard to the wars, there's the military industrial complex. Looking back to Pearl Harbor, 9/11, some of the things that Judge Joe had just mentioned with, or Loki, I believe, mentioned with some of the things that we can expect. Multiple of those situations we knew about, we had intel about, we let it happen. Pearl Harbor is a great example of this, by the way. The American population back during the World War II era, the American population was full of isolationists. If FDR tried to go to war before America was attacked, they would have been voted out of office. So there's a lot of political games that go into play with a lot of these things, guys. So think about these things. The government that leads us, they don't have our best interests in mind. And this is where I love Judge Joe, is our justice system is what is currently protecting us from the government that leads us down a path of destruction, where they continue to kick the can down the road when it comes to financials, right? So none of this should come as a surprise. 9/11, they knew, they had intel on Osama bin Laden back in the 90s. The shit still happened. The same thing with Pearl Harbor. A bad thing happened. A bunch of people died. It galvanized the nation. Everybody was running around with American flags and let's go to war in the Middle East to find Osama. We had the intel that Osama was in Pakistan, but then we invade Afghanistan, which is rich with opium fields. And then we're going into regime change toppling throughout the Middle East. The whole thing that we're all dealing with is a complete mess. I understand everybody's frustration with it, but ultimately, at the end of the day, it starts with every single politician who continues to not balance the budget. And if you ran a grocery store and you continued to produce a net negative in income, you would be fired. That is exactly what we need to do with the government. If every year that we have a deficit increase, everybody in the government, president down, should be fired immediately. Get this under control. This is elementary. If you only have $4, you can't keep spending $6. And I know it's trillions and the budget is very different in their world, but this is out of control. And lead to immigration. And Dana, I know you're probably tired and want to get some sleep. I'm going to try to keep this quick. The immigration problem, when I lived in Arizona in the mid 2000s, every single person that I met that had came to the United States legally, they despised every single person who snuck across the border. And that is very much still the case. guys. Why is the government robbing us of our tax dollars and then giving it to these people who have nothing to do with anything that we've done here? Right? Like, ask yourself that
Let
question.
me ask you this. So who, and I guess who are these protesters? Because it looks like, especially in Chicago, that is the Mexicans and the Hispanics who are probably citizens trying to defend, I guess, the illegals, that's there or whatever, because that's their quote unquote people. So who are these protesters? Are they paid protesters? I probably so, but
There's an argument to be made about being paid protesters, but there's also an argument to be made that this is their family who didn't want to go through all of the paperwork, and now the individual protesting is a residential citizen with a green card. Now they're protesting these deportations because they're trying to get their family here because America's a gold mine. Like, it is as shitty as it is, forgive my language, it's still the best country that there is. Like, you can, if you put your work to it, and this goes back to what Judge was saying, if you put your work into it, you put in the hours, you kick ass, you take names, you can make a lot of money. But a lot of it comes into where you put your effort and time. Time is the one thing that you can never get back. You can always make more money. You can always invest. You can always make money in the stock market. And back to what Immortal was saying, the stock market is kind of like a casino. I've made a lot of money in 2021 with the AMC and the GameStop situation. I was involved in all of that. Um, but
let me interject
sure.
that, because I agree with everything you said. So just a quick example of myself, when I was working in New York as a massage therapist, I had a lot of gratuities. So it's like cash daily or making a certain amount of money weekly. So when you get used to that, you think, oh, this gonna last, this is how it's always gonna be. So I was spending a lot, and in which I should have been investing or whatever, right? Um, and so the mentality of most Americans is that, oh, I could always make that back. I could always make that back because we are consumers and our economy keeps moving, free market, free trade, or whatever, whatever. I think the problem here is people are fearing that with all this, I guess, AI and geopolitics that's going on with our government and stuff like that, and international stuff, and with the illegals who could be terrorists, that something is going to happen, right? Whether it's Palatar or whoever, because I don't like that Peter guy either, or Black Rock. But I think most Americans are afraid that that is going to stop, to where I won't be in a position to just say, oh, I can make this back. I can make this back. You know what I'm saying? That something's going to happen that's going to stop our natural way of living.
Sure, I 100% hear what you're saying, and this comes back to what Loki was talking about. What they're trying to do is issue us central bank digital currencies, replace the dollar, and make all of our transactions documentable. They're going to try to replace your credit score with a God forgive me, help me out, Loki. You know what I'm
Social
reaching
credit
for.
score. Social credit
Right,
score.
right, 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 right. They're going to try to issue a social credit score on top of CBDCs, which is central bank digital currencies. And then one day you're going to go to the grocery store, try to buy a box of beer, and your social credit score is going to tell the grocery store, hey, uh, Immortal has bought 24 packs of beer for every day for the last week. So no, you don't get that anymore. Like, these are the kinds of levels of control that are concerning. And I would also ask everybody to take a look at what is going on with these boats that are being bombed that are coming from South America. Like, okay, sure, they might have stopped some drugs or fentanyl from getting into our country, which is also another problem that I don't want to elaborate on because I'm trying to be respectful of Dana's time. But if they'll do that to citizens of another country trying to bring quote unquote drugs here, what happens when the government turns that same hand onto American citizens? Okay. You got to think about all of this stuff when you're looking at everything that's going on. And back to what Loki was saying, you have a right to bear arms. Fucking use it. Arm up, get some ammunition. You don't need a million rounds, but keep it. If 2020 didn't teach any of us anything with stocking a reserve cache of food, toilet paper, you name it, etc., I don't know how to help you if you didn't learn anything from any of that. So just keep in mind everything that's going on. The biggest problem that we have right now is an out of control government. It doesn't matter who the president is. I think that Trump has done some good things. I think he's done some bad things. I think that every president in my lifetime could be brought up on charges of war crimes with the bombing of people in the Middle East and then American citizens die in the process. There's an argument to be made there. I'm not here to make that argument. But you got to look at the big picture, zoom out a little bit. Immortal, I think that what you were trying to say, I understand where you're at. I was there 10 years ago. I think you're almost there. Just keep digging into the information. And I think the whole big picture will come together. And I will shut up. Thank you.
Mr. Sandwich, you're spot on, and you know what's coming, right? Which is the end of our currency. That's why they're printing as much, and they're creating as much debt as they possibly can, because they know that it's the end. This is end game, and they're going to crash it and then start anew. And they will use a CBDC in order to do that, right? And it's even scarier than some of the things we've already spoken about, where
Wait,
you're going to
but
live.
here's a question that I have: under
Yeah.
what administration? A JD Vance? It ain't gonna happen under Trump.
Well,
I
no,
don't
it's
think.
they're setting the stage for it, right? So if you read everybody in here should read Agenda 2030, right? Which is the UN
I guess what
agenda.
I'm just point blank asking Peter is, it doesn't matter if they're Republican or Democrat, basically.
Correct. It's uniparty. It's them versus us, and they don't want us traveling. We're considered useless eaters
So
to these
even the
individuals.
Republicans who were claiming all through last year's election and even its upcoming midterms that they're against that, they're technically really for it.
They are all captured. You understand, all of our politicians are fully captured. There's maybe one or two, if that, and they're going to be captured as well. And so what they're able to do is leverage these individuals in different ways and say, if you don't do what we say, you're going to now lose everything we've given you and enabled you to be able to do. And so we're entering a phase where they have the technology to do this, to track everything all the time, herd us into what are called 15-minute cities, where everything occurs within 15 minutes of your house, and you're not going to have enough carbon credits to leave the city. They don't want you traveling or me traveling. They want to leave all the nice areas for themselves. And ultimately, like I said, we are considered useless eaters to these individuals. And
I think
they're at
that's
a
a stretch, and I don't kind of don't want to
all right.
prolong this conversation because I took two magnesium pills because it helps me sleep and it's
Hey,
kicking in
Dana, that's why
sooner
they
than I
want you
thought.
in these electric cars because they can shut those electric cars down.
Yeah, but
Uh,
let me
may
just
I,
say this. I think that would be too extreme because if America is going to continue to be America, right? People need to travel for work, outside this country, within this country. So you want to limit them to 50. That means there's no more United States of America. Like
That's right.
this will weaken this country. So who wants that? Why would
And if they want a one world government,
The
okay,
globalist.
they want a one world government where they control everything all the time,
they're
everywhere.
controlling everything, but then controlling people to a 15-minute window? Like, I think that's too extreme because listen, you got the whole continent of Africa. And I love Ergen Leisure, and I didn't watch this video, but the title was basically cut and dry saying that Africa today is what America was 100 years ago. And it makes perfect sense because that's you had the Vanderbilts, you had the Astors, or you just had a lot of innovation. So basically, if you whatever certain countries, if you get in now, then you could definitely build generation wealth. So my point is, it's impossible to implement that. Maybe in the United States, maybe in Europe, I don't know, but that's impossible to implement that in a continent of Africa.
I mean, once you have the digital ID, you understand what Palantir is developing, which are drones the size of like bees and hummingbirds, and they could literally use facial recognition technology to be able to determine who they are, where they're at all the time. That's why they couple it with digital ID, and they literally can weaponize the drone system using a shaped explosive charge, or they could use a gas or some other type of
What
chemical to
to
knock
blow us up?
if they want
If
if
I
if
might
they
add
want to.
something to this mix, if I can add something to this mix, every time we have a new technology, people have been predicting doom and gloom. Now, the truth of the matter is our currency and our stock exchanges are stabilized by the People's Republic of China, which is in fact the biggest single investor in the American stock markets, also in the rest of the world, and they have the biggest quantity of our currency in their possession. Next thing is the U.S. military and naval forces stabilized the entire operation. Next thing is what has been said makes a lot of sense, but for the fact that you can't do anything about it because of the differences from one extreme to another in the several hundred representatives we have in the U.S. House and in the 100 U.S. senators. Now, each of these categories is elected by a constituency. Reflect on Jasmine Crockett or AOC and the constituency that elects them, and understand that a lot of these constituencies that contribute to the makeup of Congress don't have good sense. So under our system, they are entitled to their representation. And what usually happens is the representatives reflect the dingbats that elect them or the wise people that elect them. It varies. So you're going to have people who understand economics and people who don't give a damn about it. So we have to accommodate both sides as part of the collateral when you have a system like ours. So it's all well and good to say what ought to be done in an ideal world, but because we don't have ideally wise constituencies uniformly across this country, there's no way we're going to acquire that in our governance when it comes to at least the legislative function. We can come closer with the chief executive and we can come close with the judicial branch, but because the chief executive's office for the last 4 years and next preceding 4 years going back to the preceding 8 did not act wisely in their selections, and because the House and the Senate are full of shit in some instances, we will get things that otherwise would be good, but they're turds floating around in the toilet bowl. So that's what we're stuck with. It's collateral damage to the type of system that we have.
And Judge, just one final to put a pin on this because I know we're going to close out. I could talk about this a long time, but we're just to put a final pin on it. I didn't come up with this out of thin air. I've read about this for decades now. There was a book called Behold a Pale Horse. I encourage everybody in the room to read it. He literally this book lays out everything that has been happening, and the book was written in 1991 by a guy named William Cooper, who worked for Office of Naval Intelligence, and said that he actually came across these plans for a one world government, and this is how they're going to institute it. I encourage you to pick that book up and to educate yourself because it is scary how on point he is. And this book was written literally over 30 years ago. So I encourage you to check that out. And I'll land with that.
We won't have any jeopardy of going that way unless our Congress decides we should, and they contemporaneously have a chief executive who goes along with that. And we also would require some courts that are populated by dingbat judges who would go along with it. So, in order to get this kind of massive consensus, the country's already gone to hell anyway, and it's too late to do anything about it. So let's just prevent that from happening on too broad a scale and limit it to issues where you bring in Coonskin Crockett from down in Texas, who hopefully will be uh, district out of existence, or AOC on the other side of things on the East Coast, or Maxine Wastewater on the West Coast. hopefully those will end. But as long as we have that kind of stuff, we've got problems. Or Nancy Pelosi, going back to a previous little topic, has had a civil servant's pay check for her entire adult life, but she's now worth $85 million, which is impossible to be on that kind of salary. Now, that's what we put in office, or when I say we, not the collective, but individual constituencies put in. So we have idiot constituencies, which are a whole lot of people, quite a few thousand at a time. We have to deal with them too. It's not just the president. Now, I'll pass
I
the
agree
mic.
with you, Judge, and hopefully spaces like this will inspire people to actually stand up and run for office, and right the ship because we are listing, and we definitely need help in a bailout. Let's go to Isa or Denise Davis, and then we'll keep it moving.
Happy birthday, Dana. Just wanted to come and say thank you. Thank you for letting our voices be heard and putting that time in, you and Judge Brown. I also wanted to say, outside of the paranoia, you cannot escape artificial intelligence. It's going to change the landscape of our working environments. You have got to start investing. The S&P 500 has hit super highs this year under this administration. If you're afraid to invest, you're going to be left out because artificial intelligence is going to dismantle most of our working jobs. Most of the employment that we're used to, you're going to see massive layoffs because artificial intelligence is going to replace it. So encourage your children that this is America. This is the land of opportunity. No matter what governments around the world might be plotting or planning, they still have a chance at life, to have a good life. Start talking to our next generation about stock options and puts and calls and how to understand those carrot sticks when they go, those candlesticks when they go up and go down, because that's where the economy is going. The administration already told us they want us to revive our private sector. There's no more government jobs. It's time for us to be innovative again. In regards to crime and surveillance, I'm loving what I'm seeing from the administration. I'm glad to see um, government take crime prevention, the citizens' safety, the sovereignty of our country, the safety of our country seriously. I heard Cash Patel say it's 110,000 gang members in Chicago, and they've had 1,200 shootings this year. That shouldn't be normal. We shouldn't be used to hearing kids and women and elderly being victims of crime regularly. So I'd like to also see this administration be stronger on crime. That may mean the emergence of private prisons. I'm so for that. I will go ahead and invest in the Geo Group on the S&P 500 so that I can get back something that, order of chaos. Out of chaos comes order. If I'm going to get a dividend return of that, I'm happy with that. But that's all I wanted to say. Happy birthday, Dana. I hope you enjoy, your new year around the sun, and I hope all of your dreams come true. You all have a good night.
Appreciate
One
that,
little thing
Denise.
I'd have to say, I think since I've been very experienced with it, I think you need to re-examine your position on private prisons. They are one of the worst poisons we've ever invented. Now, that said, that's just based on experience of having to deal with
But
them
Judge,
and what comes
but
out
Judge,
of it.
don't you see the
Now,
states, the state prisons? They may not be able to handle the
no,
capacity.
states can handle it. The problem with private is it has to be cost plus profit. And generating profit usually turns out to be counterproductive to what prisons and jails are supposed to be about. In other words, to enhance the profitability, you do things to increase the rate of crime so there will be more customers for your service. That's the flaw with that. But it sounds good. It's just in practical application, it doesn't work. And it's inherently evil because of what it does. Now, One thing I would make an observation on, we do need to maintain maximum caution using official agencies to deter and apprehend criminals is one thing. Using the same institutions when we are not vigilant for purposes of political repression, aka lawfare, is an inherent evil that we must be hyper vigilant to prevent.
Absolutely, Judge. And it's something that we, again, need to wake more people up to, which I'm glad that we're discussing it on this space. Nancy, you're up.
Hey, I just came up because I wanted to say, yeah, the stock market's going up just like gold is skyrocketing because the value of the dollar is going down. If you look at the basket of currencies, the thing that I figured out a long time ago that made it all make sense to me is to understand that all currencies now are fiat. They're not backed by gold like they once were, and they're all on a race to zero, to being worthless. It's just which one is winning that race. That's the basket of currency, and how you figure out how the dollar's doing. So that's why the stock market's going up, and that's why gold is going up. The other thing is everybody should really read um, what Peter talked about in Agenda 2030. It used to be Agenda 21. It's from the UN. I highly recommend everybody read it because all this stuff he talked about is in there. And if you watch some of the videos from the World Economic Forum, they will say it right to your face. It's amazing to me. I've known about this stuff for ages. I was kind of raised with it by my mother. But they used to be pretty secretive about it. Now they're saying it right to your face if you'll just listen to what they're saying. I mean, Klaus Schwab, who was that founded the World Economic Forum, he even wrote books about COVID and what he was doing with it when it was going on. But nobody read them. You can buy them on Amazon. There's two of them. So that's what I came up to say. Besides, birthday, Dana. I hope it's been a great day. And hello to my favorite judge, Judge Joe Brown. Thanks, guys.
How you doing? May I offer a suggestion as required reading? Read The Wizard of Oz, the books. The Wizard of Oz is a comment on the gold standard. The Wizard of Oz was the governor of Kansas. Dorothy represents a historical person, so does the Tin Man, Straw Man, and the Lion. They all represent political figures who actually existed, and there's a point to the whole thing. Now, let me just say why nobody in the world is on the gold standard. The problem is that there's a finite amount of gold. And with that finite amount of gold, at least in circulation, you reach a point where nobody can make anything, earn anything, or turn a profit because there is insufficient gold to cover it. So that's one of the factors that led to the stock market crash worldwide in 1929. You've heard of buying on margin. That's because that was the difference between the gold value and the dollar value, and it did not work. So the U.S. got off of the gold standard because of that. And actually, any currency, whether it's cowrie beads, clay tablets, or it's the very complex formula that's used to print American dollars on, or it's gold or platinum or silver, it depends upon the power and authority of the government that issues them. And the thing that we have is there are two very powerful nations on the planet. One is the People's Republic of China, which stabilizes the world stock exchanges and world's currencies, and the other is the United States government that has nuclear ballistic missile submarines, B-1, B-2 bombers, B-52s, F-22s, F-35s, A-10s, M-1 tanks, and B-2, well, M-2 and M-3 Bradleys, and Arleigh destroyers and Nimitz class carriers and LA class submarines, Virginia class submarines, Ohio submarines, and a few Seawolves. So with that, we can pretty much dictate to the world, go to hell if you don't like it. If not, then join in. And then Russia jumped in with China to come up with BRICS as an alternative axis on the economic scale. So that's the way things work today.
I'm back.
Yep.
Did everybody get a chance to speak?
Yeah, Nancy just came up. She made a great point. I think everyone went through. I just want to make one more.
I think the points.
Yeah, I think they were great. Nancy, you raised a great point as well, regarding what these individuals want, right? And at the end of the day, if you look at the Israeli author of *Sapiens*, Yuval Harari, he talked at one of these WEF symposiums about, well, that AI was coming and it was going to replace everybody, and machines are going to do all the labor, so you're not going to need that many people. And the interviewer said, well, what is everybody going to do? People need to have meaning, for them to be able to live and survive. He said, well, what we're going to do is we're going to give them the ability to stay home, right? They'll be able to play video games, and we'll give them drugs. So the people who don't want to work are just going to drop out. We're not going to need them, and they'll be on drugs playing video games all day. This is the vision that these individuals have for the rest of the world. And it's scary, and we could talk further on it in another space, but there's a reason that we're having the issues we're having, and that we're keeping Russia bogged down with Ukraine. It's because we want to weaken the Russians, because we know that eventually, when push comes to shove in the next 10 years or so, or even less, we're going to be facing off with the Chinese, and we don't want the Chinese to be able to have a strong ally in Russia to fight against us with. And that is the end game of what's happening right now. I'll end there.
There's a solution. There's a solution.
Tell me.
You're absolutely right. But the solution is to colonize other planets, starting with Mars, so you'll have some place that's primitive where people can expand into. So the excess population of the Earth will be divided with some other place where it won't be excessive with two planets. Then expand from there and get a whole lot of people involved into the mind game, the intellectual thing, so we can take the technology level to the point where we can develop the physics and come up with an operative warp drive so we can get the hell out of this solar system.
Judge, as
The
long as I could be a lord on Mars, I'll go to Mars and populate the place. Could I have
well,
my own
yeah, but I
concubines?
mean
Can I have a whole bunch of concubines?
but the point is it's an opening, and that is what's likely to happen. There's no reason why we can't,
I'm not
I'm with
going.
you.
I'm not going
except we
nowhere
lack the
that
will.
Elon Musk talking about some. Oh, I created
Well,
this
it's funny,
Well,
for
that's
people
all
to
right.
live.
He
It
can
was
talk it,
Judge.
but
his
he's not
idea.
wrong. If I were younger,
I know
I'd
you
go.
would.
I'd
You'll go
sign up in a
now.
minute.
You'll go now.
I'd go
Yeah.
now.
Judge, you're spot on. Look what Musk has been talking about. Mars, Mars, Mars. So
Well,
these
he can
people
take
are
his ass to Mars. He know how to
He
populate with all them
he and
goddamn babies and
he
Dana.
baby mamas.
intends to.
Dana, that's what they're doing. Don't
He
you understand? Like
intends to.
once we could terraform, right? Meaning that we create our own environment and own planets.
You
Why
and
wouldn't
Peter
you?
could take your ass to Mars, honey. Me, my
Judge, you want to
grandkids,
go?
and their kids will be
Well,
staying
yeah,
here
I
Let's
on
know.
go.
Earth.
What you think? What you think they did with North America? Whether you're talking about coming across from
That's fine,
Siberia
but it was
by
on the
way of
same
what's now
planet.
Alaska, that's all right. It
It's
doesn't
a
make any
difference when
difference.
you
If for
leaving one
them,
planet to go fly to
no,
how
for
many a
them,
million
when they
miles to
had
another
sailing
planet.
ships,
I'll be like
when
Elroy
they didn't
Jetson.
even have sailing ships, it was
I
just the
y'all could
same
go.
equivalent. Well,
Dana, you're
people
gonna want to
did.
come.
That's
No,
why
I'm
we
not.
have North
No,
America and
I'm
the
not. I
United
don't want to.
States.
I don't want to. I don't want a sunrise and a
Well, I
sunset
mean,
of redness. No, no, thank you.
well, you don't, but some other
Yes, like
people
you
do. Some people,
and Loki.
yeah, I know, but
Dana, you
that's the
never heard
type
of
of
red light
people that
therapy?
drove
Yeah,
everybody.
red light
That's
for
the
30 minutes,
people.
not for
But
eternity, not for a lifetime. Shit.
that's the people that drove us out of migrated out of
Honey.
Africa.
It was
That's
still
the
Earth. It was
people
still the
that
same planet. It was still the same
that's
planet.
okay. but it's the same
No, it
equivalent.
ain't.
I'd
Wait,
go to
hold on,
space.
because
I'll take me to space. I'll
we got
go.
two speakers, Bishop and Adam. And
Well, you stay at home. I'll go
yeah,
if
I'm
I
staying at
can.
home.
Anyway,
Go ahead, Bishop. Where you been, Bishop?
Hello, folks. Can you hear me?
Yeah, where you been?
We can hear you.
Oh, okay. I can't hear myself for some reason on my headphones, but it's good to see you all again. I just jumped in. I was in the hospital for a minute.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm all right. I had some congestive heart failure.
That's
I
not
had,
good. That's serious.
yeah, well, I had 3 liters of fluid that they pulled out of my system because my legs and my ankles swole up so fast on me. And then all of a sudden, I started having symptoms of a heart attack.
What were
And
those
so,
symptoms?
well, I had chest pain, started having chest pain, shortness of breath. And the thing about it, especially for Black people that are listening, I had the best cardiologist in the country that the Lord gave me. I was quite surprised. And he educated me about Blacks that we have what we call the silent killer. And
Yeah.
what happens is that, like I said, this just came up on me about a week and a half ago. The symptoms just showed up. I was sitting at my desk one day and I realized my ankles and my legs were swollen. And I thought, well, maybe it was because of high salt content. That wasn't it. Because my wife and I both worked in the medical field and we could not get the swelling to go down. Then about 2 days later, I started having some chest pains, shortness of breath. I couldn't sleep at night. I was actually sleeping sitting up on my desk because it was the most comfortable. So I knew it was time to go. When I got there, they immediately put me in the hospital. I was there for 5 days, but I am doing well. The fluid that they drained from my system was the reason why I had the congestive heart failure. Because the fluid would not release from my body.
Mm.
And so they did that. But from what I understand, this is a genetic thing with Black people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
Excuse
believe.
me.
Bishop, it's not just Black people. I have it in my family, and I'm
But
genetically disposed to it.
I thought you was half black or had some blackness in you, Peter. Loki,
I'm
whichever
Nana,
one you
you
want
I'm
to be.
more
Loki.
I'm
Now you
Moorish.
ain't claiming black.
I'm Moorish. Well,
You're
no, but I'm
Moorish.
adopting everyone else's. Everybody else wants to pop off about my lineage, and
I
so
think
at the
I
end,
think you're an alien, Loki, because you done
I
claimed a little bit of everything.
I am. You're right. But Bishop, it is serious. My father is in congestive heart failure now. He's in a earlier stage, but it is manageable. Definitely stay with your cardiologist. It's important to also incorporate a statin, and make sure that you're following up. And you're probably going to need to change your diet. I don't know if you smoke or drink, but try to eliminate those, and it's definitely very manageable.
Yeah.
Well, I've definitely taken the steps that I've needed to take to include, yes, I do smoke, but I had to stop doing that. Have changed my diet, and I feel a whole lot better.
That's good.
So it was, so I am feeling good. So I forgot it was Tuesday night, and I realized I was doing something. I was writing a sermon actually, and had a lot of people. I was looking, is there somebody's birthday today? I see your
Yes, it's
birthday up
my
at the,
birthday. And
oh, well,
guys,
Dana, happy
and
birthday.
I put my fundraiser because I usually, I usually create a birthday registry when with presents and people buy me presents and give me money. But instead of that, I started a fundraiser for my YouTube channel. So yes, I want to promote
Oh,
that to
that's
have
great.
people go and donate. It's in the blue pill, and the people on YouTube, yes, go into the Gives and Go. I started that fundraiser on Give, Send, Go, and donate. It's highly appreciated. So yes, I'm 49.
49. Oh,
Yes.
you still a puppy.
That's what the
You
judge said
still a
earlier.
puppy. Yeah, I did it. Yeah, me and the judge know that's still puppy status there. But
That's
happy
good.
birthday to you. Happy
Dana,
birthday.
Thank
to
you.
Bishop's point, right? I mean, I was speaking to my nutritionist the other day. She was saying that if you could live for the next 5 years, that there should be no reason why you can't live to 200 years old with the technology and the way it is right now. So
Right.
Well,
Well,
they've
it's
got
a.
those
I
medical
think it's
beds that are
lack of
coming out.
access to it.
They got the new
right.
medical beds that are coming out, these full med beds, and they're really going to change some things. Um,
It's
I
gonna be
was
like
listening
Star
to you
Trek.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Actually, we have the technology.
Right.
And
But who
so,
gets to have access to it?
well,
That's
that's
why you
another
got to get
question.
that
That's
money.
a whole nother conversation.
Everyone should have
I,
access to it, except for illegal. So
that's absolutely true. And I think that everybody should have access to that type of technology, and maybe one day they will. I mean, after all, if we're going to fly to Mars and everything, then we might as
exactly.
well have the technology for the med beds here. But I think that it's going to be a wonderful thing if they do what's right. The problem is as I've been telling people, I hadn't put up another sermon because I was sick, but I'm going to continue my series on spiritual warfare, and especially what's happening today. How the Word of God has already shown that this day that where we're having these issues and these problems were already foretold. So for me, it's not something that is surprising to me. What it is that it happened in my lifetime. I did not expect to see this portion of it come up, but things are moving so fast and so quickly. And a lot of people they really don't realize that this is an exposure of evil. This is the exposure of the underlying evil that we have never seen because of the fact of the matrix effect. We've been shown one thing of life, of what life is supposed to be like, when everything that's really going on has been going on underneath. Now it's coming to a head, just as the Lord said. He said, what you do in the dark, I'm going to bring it to light. And a lot of people did not believe that. Well, there's a whole lot of folks that are starting to believe that in all areas of our lives, all professions, especially preachers. Um, we're really having a revelation.
Hmm.
So, as we need to continue to do, we just need to continue to pray. We need to continue to pray for our leaders. Now, you know, I know people have their different uh, opinions about who's a good leader and who's not. Me being a bishop, of course, my life has been on the Word of God, and I've been on that side for a very long time. And I've been trying to teach people that you have to be patient when it comes to God, because He does things in His own time. And people that don't understand that are going to have the hardest time living in this time period that we're living in, because of all the mess that's going on and everything like that. So, but anyway, I'll get to preaching, and I know y'all don't want me to do that, but I'm just glad to be here. Thank the Lord for the wonderful medical team that He's given me. And yes, I'll be changing my ways. I've already I lost 35, 40 pounds.
Oh wow.
And so
Okay, that's good.
now my wife is happy because now she gets to take me shopping,
Right.
because all of my clothes now are too big.
Oh wow.
And oh yeah, I've lost. Judge, I saw a picture of you. Um, where was that? I think you were in Memphis. You went into Memphis when the National Guard went in. Is that correct, sir?
I've lived in Memphis the last 55 years, so
Oh,
it wasn't when.
oh, okay. Well,
Hey,
I just saw a
so
picture of you in a sleek black suit with
yeah, well, I went in to greet them when they came, which is what most of the people who live there are trying to do, in spite of what the jackass blues are trying to
Hmm.
put out. Uh, that is what the Democratic Party emblem is, isn't it? It's a jackass,
Yeah.
So
I let me get to
anyhow,
Adam, and then I need to close
I tell
out
you
because it's
what,
late.
but one other thing very quickly on you. I went to an interesting meeting next before the X Space today, and it was interesting what they were discussing. There is a law that's been on the books but never used in Tennessee that allows the recall of elected officials, just like they have in California, but it's never been used, but it's still good law. So there were some legislators there, and some other people and a bunch of attorneys who might just put that into play and set up something in Memphis that will be very interesting for the rest of the country.
All right. Go ahead, Adam. Oh, wait a minute, let me bring him.
Yeah, he just dropped, but he's trying to come back up.
Uh,
I just added him as speaker. He should be coming up now.
okay. Go ahead, Adam, and then we gotta close out.
Hey, thanks for the mic,
Mhm.
Dana. I came up to find out whose birthday it was. I heard. Happy birthday, Dana.
Thank you.
Was it yesterday or
No, it's today.
today
On the 7th. So
after midnight?
no, well, it's the 8th. So technically, it was yesterday on the 7th.
Well, happy belated birthday or current birthday. I
Yeah.
hope you made it a great one. Judge Joe Brown, always a pleasure. Love you guys and wish you all a good night and happy birthday to you, Dana, of course.
Thank you. Appreciate you. All right, that's it. I'm tired. The magnesium done kicked in, and I want to catch that wave of sleep.
Melatonin on my end. I'm getting ready to pass out.
Yeah, I love magnesium, especially the one I have, the brand I have. So
You have liquid?
no, it's capsules, but it's I got a whole other stuff in here. It's high potent. It's really good though. But I would say I can't pronounce some of these damn words. But anyway, listen, thank you everybody for all the lovely birthday wishes. I really appreciate everyone. And if you can, and if you would like, please donate to my Gives and Go fundraiser. I'm not creating a birthday registry or nothing like that. I rather for people, instead of sending me cash apps and stuff like that, just donate to the fundraiser because it's a lot of things that I will be getting my hands into and creating to level up content on my YouTube channel. And have a wonderful night, Peter, and then Judge close us out.
Yeah, it was great space. Really relaxed space tonight. Happy birthday again. And yeah, I really hope everyone who has been here listens and takes heed and follows up and reads some of the material that we spoke about because you need to prepare for what's coming. It's always good to be ready, and you might find that you gain friends you never thought you'd have, and you rely upon your neighbors, and they rely upon you, and that's what it means to be American. And I'll land there.
I'm thinking in my head, and I'm hearing Stevie Wonder sing his version of Happy Birthday to you. Okay? And have a good orbit.
Thank you.
So I had to put that dig in since you want to stay on the
Right.
planet.
That was a good one, Judge.
I
So
will be
anyway,
orbiting around
people,
Earth.
it was so, yeah, it was so orbiting around the sun. It was so refreshing that nobody was begging and whining about how bad they've been victimized and how bad they've been suffering. That was so invigorating.
The
Yes.
whole space, Judge, a whole space without any of it.
The
It's incredible.
God, it's just like that is so debilitating. Oh, woe is me. There's no hope. I've been picked on.
I
God.
was thinking about that
Oh,
song.
that's so
Change is coming.
nauseating. Yeah,
Change is
it's
coming.
like
And
get
Well,
people are
we'll
off
starting
your
to
get
see
back
it.
ass
to
and
that
do
next
something.
on Tuesday.
Oh, but I'm
Good
glad it
Oh,
night,
was
you're
your
Dana.
funny.
birthday. It made it pleasant.
Good night, y'all.
Yeah, and happy birthday to you.
Yes.
You're young and tender, and you're getting toward being right.
All right, then.
Thank you.
It's coming.
I can tend that. All right. That's it, Judge?
Okay,
You,
Judge, that's
hey,
enough of
wait a
that. It's
minute.
time to
You
go
Fly
now.
still a bona
tenderoni.
fide. Wait a minute. Hey, I invented that term. I was a DJ in LA back in the 60s at a small little station operated out of Trinity Avenue Elementary School, and I invented that. There was a friend of mine, a Black Panther I'd recruited to UCLA. His name was Bunchy Carter, and he got killed on campus in an assassination, and he used to say on the macaroni side, tender on the macaroni side. So I started saying tenderoni. So when I got to Memphis, one of the secretaries for the legal services program was married to one of the Barkays. So she said, "You got to hear this, honey. Joe, what did you say?" I said, tenderoni. And they wound up doing a song on that. So tenderoni. But Dana, you are a bona fide LTYJ. Now ask me what that means.
What does it mean?
A luscious, tender, young, juicy.
That sounds kind of creepy-ish.
I remember Michael
Yeah, no,
Jackson did PYT, Pretty Young Thing.
Yeah.
yeah,
Boy, these acronyms
Is
are
PYT.
that your
something
closing
else.
remarks, Judge?
It's definitely after
Yeah, it
midnight
is.
here on the Justice for All with Judge
Well,
Joe Brown show.
Right. So
it's still your birthday where I am, so
right.
I'm
And
taking
it's my
license.
birthday
And
on the
by the
West Coast
way,
as well. Yeah.
Yeah, we
that
got
is
7 minutes
a
left. You
compliment.
got 7 minutes left.
That
Yeah, I
is a
7 minutes of
Oh,
stuff
you
I
compliment.
got
don't want
two
to hear.
hours here on the West Coast. 2 hours
Right.
left.
Well, we ain't
Oh,
staying
you're
up
out
on
there in
here not
California,
even for
Loki?
7 minutes. So
don't get creeped out like a feminist. It was a
I'm not getting
compliment.
creeped out like a feminist. It's just is that what is that acronym? It was kind of corny. Ish.
Nah, well, it's 50 years
Exactly.
old. We used to
Yeah.
say it. Bona fide LTYG was a
I
compliment.
know it is. Just
And
make it more
yeah,
modern.
Judge, you're making me want to go to the
well,
gentleman's club tonight now. I think I might have to go
Peter, say your
step
ass
out.
in the
yeah.
house.
Peter's gonna make it
Yeah, that would
rain.
be the best thing for you, Peter. You need to stay
Yeah, it's a
home. Don't
full
be going
moon.
out there.
Just sit
Well,
down.
if you were in Memphis, it would finally be safe since, and they only brought in 700 National Guardsmen too. So they also deputized a bunch of people to be the U.S. Marshal's assistants, deputy
Can
U.S.
you say goodnight,
Marshal. That was
Judge?
a slick move. And I'm saying, come to Memphis and go to one of those clubs if you want. It's now safe to do so, at least for the last few
Judge,
days.
I might have to take
Yeah.
you up on that. Maybe when I finish
I
my
want to
Hey,
come
current
to
trip,
Memphis
we'll
so we
go
can
out
go to lunch.
together.
Yeah, I gotta come.
yeah.
If Judge Joe Brown's going and you're going, I'm coming too.
Yeah, I
All
got to
right.
come to Memphis so we can go to lunch and dinner, Judge. And Dana,
All
you
right.
gonna
There
have to
you
come
go.
and join us.
Bishop, get better. Get better. Feel better, Bishop. Get
Yes,
that
feel better, Bishop.
fluid off. All right. We need you around. And Dana, one more orbit. Yeah. In space. Yeah.